God damn it. Okay, no, it's coming. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to
There.
Aurorum Thronekeeper. Season 2, Session 6. I, your host, Daelric, would like to welcome my cast. First, we have the fox herself, Zero Doxy. Hi, Zero Doxy. Oh, wrong way. Hi, Zero Doxy. How are you doing today? Awesome. Next up, we have the simp himself, Laszlo. What's up, buddy? How's it hanging up there?
Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm happy to be here.
I did want you to know, Josh, because I love you so much, that I put you in the top box up there. So for one time in your life, you could be above Will. It'll be the only time in your life. So enjoy it while it lasts. And finally, hey, sexy. How you doing, brother?
Hey there.
All right.
I really wanted to ruin it by saying we already did me.
Please, we all know who the sexy one is here.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I do have dandruff.
It's
so,
Doxy.
you know.
It's Doxy. Yes, my dandruff is always a problem as well.
Scott and I have to worry about kids, you know, so
I
we go
get
like
hella
this and
dandruff
smudge.
in the winter. It's bad. I have to use special shampoos and shit for it.
I actually have a sunburn on my head right now, so I might have skin
Oh,
flaking
that's so
off.
rough.
It's real unpleasant. I can't actually shave my head right now because it would hurt like hell. Try getting a
Melanin
razor
should
burn
stop
on a
simping
sunburn.
For UV rays.
Doxy, my answer for that in the
That's
wintertime is I just don't wash my
because
hair.
like the hair itches.
I found the glitch, Scott.
Yeah.
Did I win?
I haven't gotten him to laugh like that for a long time.
It's been
It's literally my job to be funny. I have not gotten him to laugh like that in a long time.
I'm sorry.
All you have to do is do shirt jokes, be Canadian, and say glitch hunting occasionally.
Yeah.
Listen, I hope Josh got that joke.
See, when I talk, you see.
Oh, bud.
But Doxy, you know why I'm
He
successful.
didn't get it. Somebody clip it for him.
When I get Scott to laugh like that, it's because he doesn't expect me to be funny.
Facts.
You're saying I spoil him.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Exactly.
These are facts.
Yeah.
All right.
He just expects me to be clever and witty and handsome.
Messi. When Messi makes me laugh, it's because Messi is so boring all the time. This is Messi 98% of the time. Ready?
I mean, that's pretty accurate, but Messi is one of the funniest people
He's
I
really
know.
funny.
He
Yeah.
makes me laugh.
5% of the time he drops bombs. He he comes the kamikaze in and just it's amazing. But yeah, anyways.
He has some concussive ones, legit.
Yeah. The green. Anyways. So.
Josh, you doing all right there, champ?
POV Messi.
I get it now. I got the banner that said my internet is unstable.
Oh, yeah.
What a fucking show, boys.
Yeah. All right. So should we actually get into breaking Doxy's? I mean,
We have to wait. We have to wait for Josh's internet to catch up.
oh, don't worry about him.
Oh, it won't. It's Boston. It's from Boston.
It is.
It's
No,
slow.
it's not from Boston. It's because you're not getting decent internet.
It's catching up right now. Like you're replying in real time. By the way, I fucking love your hair lately. You are looking great these days. Just so you know.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's
No.
Doxy, would you like Josh and I to hang out and send you a couple of small videos of me running my fingers through his hair for you?
I do kind of have a thing for really nice hair.
I'll do it. Onlyfans.com.
I mean, like, there would be a market.
Definitely.
Just saying, like, that you could actually make some money. that way if you
Onlyfans.com
wanted.
/the
No.
Italian Stallion.
The truth is, he's so much taller than me. It would just look like a father going, "Hey, champ."
There's a market for that too.
Awesome. All right. That was a fake laugh to make him feel good, guys. Don't tell him. He probably can't hear me anyways. He's glitching out. So,
Wait, what was that? What was it? What?
terms of service, what? Okay, so you are, Wait, is Dungeon Dad Josiah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever I'm on your stream, I always at Dungeon Papa.
That's okay.
I'm not joking. If I pop on your
Dungeon
stream,
Papa on Twitter.
Yeah.
oh, I pop on you. If I pop on your stream and say something to him, I at Dungeon Papa.
Is there a Dungeon Papa?
There might be someone who's like taking his name as well and hangs out and lurks in those.
This guy's just talking to some dude.
I would really like it if it was just like, you know, a distant relative of Josiah from like somewhere like, I don't know, from I actually don't really want to say where Josiah's heritage is from in case he hasn't talked about it online. But anyways, yeah, just like a distant relative that is just like, you know, looking out for his, you know, great nephew or whatever. Why not?
Last time on Aurorum
that's-
Thronekeeper Session 5, our
Are we doing a
party
show or something?
came back to the city with the people and the places, and I'm in the wrong campaign. The city in with the people and the places, and they had conversations with Lady Arceum, wherein she fully recalled everything. Gave some secrets to Laszlo, and also you had a conversation again with what's that dude man's name? Get my notes
Fuck, I
out.
forget too.
Qatar?
I'm so bad with
Qatar.
names. Qatar.
Qatar.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
What is his first name?
I have it right here. Hold on. Give
Simplord.
for me a moment, please.
Simplord Qatar.
No, he.
Ishmael.
He's a Chad.
Ishmael.
He's a Chad.
Ishmael.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a Chad.
I know. I'm
A
aware.
modern Chad, not an old Chad. Anyway, so Ishmael Qatar. So he had another conversation with him, which made things even more confusing for poor Doxy. But most importantly, Chrisellen had a conversation with Lady Arceum, and it went like better than I think any of us expected it to. Doxy pulled all stops. She did an amazing setup with her description of how she wanted to, and the RP was on point, and the roles were absolutely amazing. Josh doing well with Lady Arceum, we all expected that. But Lady Arceum's personality is definitely very oil and water, with a concept like Doxy's, but sometimes oil and water makes a great mixture.
Man.
You're forgetting the best thing that Doxy did that night. When that tagline that she had with Qatar, where she was like, maybe you could play both sides. And everyone was like, oh. You don't remember that?
Both sides of, I'm so sorry.
Of the
it's been like 2 or
conflict.
3 weeks. I'm so
Of the
sorry.
conflict. And we were all like, oh, you got him. That's it. You got him now.
Yeah, that was of Qatar. I was thinking Arceum, that's why. So that's why I was confused for a second. Yeah, and he was like, ooh, money. Yeah, I think Doxy was just on point that day. Unfortunately, poor Will, he met with Josh's old mentor?
Master. Or sensei, as he likes to be called, I guess. Today, at least.
Yeah. He, that was fun for you, wasn't it, Will?
Delightful.
And poor Will just got the worst opportunity for RP. But pulling us back into the game, when it last left off, there was a little tail end to the conversation with Lady Arceum. First, it was a conversation about Simulacrum and the opportunity to do that and listen to the podcast, and the more or less the fact that a couple of people that are on the podcast had to look up what a Simulacrum was, which is pretty cool. Expanding of knowledge, the more you know. The thing that I liked is the conversation that you guys had there, her literal compliment of your character's skill, but then when you walked her down to her carriage, there was that little tail end of the conversation she had there about you and your own life and so on and so forth. One of those things that I think a lesser person probably would have taken it as an insult, but I think Chrisellen didn't take it as an insult. I think she took it as a perspective. As
It was
opposed
a challenge to her
Yeah.
beliefs, right? But
Yeah.
she welcomes those.
Yeah, exactly.
Intellectual.
Exactly. If that was Rayrin, he would have drawn a sword and stabbed her in the heart, but he's also a lesser person by and far.
Little
So,
bitch.
yeah, oh, dude. If you haven't seen the clip of Jake facepalming, anyways,
I haven't. I want
I haven't
to.
either, but this is
It's pretty good.
I
It's pretty
believe
good.
if somebody could repost that in clips and ping Doxy so she can see it because it's pretty awesome. For context, Doxy, sorry, spoilers for everybody else. For context, Doxy, there it is right there in Twitch chat. For context, they're dealing with more or less an 07 of the Paradel military. Is who's in a conversation with.
I don't know what that means.
A brigadier general, like a very, very, very high-ranking person.
010 is the highest rank in the military.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, anyways, moving on. You that's how kind of like that night ended. I know that the next day you really wanted to go and have a conversation with what's her name, and I put off until this week, and then we've just put off for an hour and 15 minutes. Was there anything else that we're having Laszlo and Oscar do, or are we just kind of jumping right into her meeting with? Yeah, I know, right? Isn't it pretty amazing?
Somebody needs to gifify that so that we can spread it all across the internet.
Ooh, yeah. Let's give Jake's response. Just like
It's very good.
like, it's a really good facepalm. Yeah. Yeah, let's give Jake's facepalm. Let's make
It's
Jake
so
famous.
genuine.
Yeah. Yeah. After a year and a half of playing these characters. Yeah.
Okay, one more off-topic thing, and then I swear I'll be a good girl. But
But we like
That's
it
a
when you're
lie.
naughty.
That's
Jake?
just a lie.
Jake looks like if Jason Momoa was the evil twin.
Excuse me,
Right?
can I get that again?
Jake looks like
Mm-hmm.
if Jason Momoa was the evil twin.
Can we also get that soundbite and send it to Jake, please? He would
He's
would
like
like
the
that.
wholesome Momoa.
He will have that most likely as his text message alert. Like he gets a text message. Jake.
Oh,
looks
he's
like
right
if
there. Hi, Jake.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
Absolutely.
Very good.
Hey, listen. Awesome. He's like, I'm hitting the gym hard today. So anyways, you,
Poor Jim.
do you boys have anything specific that you really wanted to focus on yourselves? Or are we going to jump right into Doxy going to see Lady Isaac?
I wanted to do some more research.
Yeah, please do
on-
some stuff to bring me
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah, I wanted to do some more research. I tried the Sill last time and I failed horribly. I'm gonna try any rumors. I know I probably won't get a lot of facts, but just look for rumors of the dwarf people, the dwarf clans, like folklore that might be out there, or anything that I can try to tie and assemble to get more of an idea of an identity.
Okay, because you had no meetings coming up, did you?
No, RCM was the last one.
Yeah, she was saying more or less, see back to me in a few days' time.
Yeah, she has work she had to do, and then she was gonna look at the chest. That's what she told me. So.
Look good.
I'm too immature for you to say shit like that, dude.
So anyways, yeah, you, and Oscar, was there anything specifically that you wanted to work on?
Figuring out what the fuck was meant by letting shit go.
You're also
Meditating
supposed to
on
make
the-
friends with Qatar.
When was that talked about?
She left you a
Last
little note
time.
on your pillow with a chocolate. Just do it.
No, last time we discussed it, didn't we?
Don't think so.
I don't remember that.
No,
'Cause
I
you're
don't.
It makes sense. It makes
weapon
sense.
Man.
Like, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but it's just more. I just don't remember us talking about
Maybe
that. at
I
any
just
point.
meant to bring it up and never did. My bad.
Might be the case. That's okay. Or it's entirely possible that I just forgot. It's been 2 weeks and I'm dumb. So
Mood.
yeah.
So I have research and historical lore. Which one would you like me to roll?
One of those would definitely be research. There's no. Oh no.
Okay.
Historical lore.
Mhm.
Are there any other like fantasy lore or anything like that, like folktale lore, any of those that exist as an option? I didn't pull up the things honestly.
I can pull up and check right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now because I have them all pinned.
There's arcane, cultural, historical, military, musical, nature,
religious.
religious. Those are the lores.
Okay.
So if it's more like fantasy, I would just say research then.
Okay, research. Okay, then do research. Thank you.
I prefer lore because you have to give me more. But
Whatever.
whatever.
I would argue that that's cultural lore. Fantasies and fictions are part of a culture. They're not
Oh, it was Bombo. What Snaga's saying in chat, I think Doxy was right that you were on task, but it was actually
Bombo,
the guy known as
not Qatar.
Oathkeeper, not Qatar, the guy that sells swords. Yeah.
Bombo's the Mr. Military Man.
Because you already have Qatar kind of like wrapped around your pinky a little bit, you wanted him to start approaching a different angle. Does that sound right to you, Doxy? I don't want to argue with you on this one.
Literally everything sounds wrong because I'm on SSRI withdrawal, so...
Okay. Okay.
I go talk to a military man at some point here and have a conversation. We find out.
You know what? We'll pretend that it was always Bombo, that we had this discussion already.
Sure, yeah.
That is the reality we live in.
I'm all right with it. This is fine.
I didn't ask Josh to roll, so he's just gonna have to re-roll that one for me because I didn't.
He said research.
Yeah,
You did.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to roll that one for me. We did get some luck, by the way. I should have thrown. I'm gonna throw those in there for you guys in case you happen to use
chat.
one.
Thank you, Chad.
I simp for luck die.
She also did something else. This is not she. Sorry, someone also did something else in there, but I won't give any details on that one. So yeah. Anything else you want to do? You want to luck that, Josh, to see if you can get even better than 16? Because you're dealing with some pretty impressively deep lore.
Do it. Start the luck slutting early.
Fuck it, luck it. It's pretty
18?
good. 18's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think 19 was the next. Yeah. But
17,
it got me up
17
to.
was the next tier,
Yeah.
right? So that's.
take
But
it.
I will like to say I would like to do speedy search. So it only takes half the time that it would normally take.
Where are you doing this research? Describe it for us.
I'm assuming the castle has a library. A library. I didn't say it weird the first time.
It does, of course. So you just got to go through the castle's library and hoping that.
I would do that at first, and then if not, I would like to do since it's only taking half the time. I would like to go searching if there is like a local school that for like young children or whatever, to go check in to see what their
It's
kind
actually
of folklore would have.
Xavier's School for the Gifted.
Oh, okay, cool. They're not very good. But, yeah.
No. didn't
They're
know
like
why we
fingernails grow. Got you. My eyelashes are long. Ooh.
I do have long eyelashes.
I have
So
shitty little eyelashes, and I'm really pissed.
You can have mine,
like,
Doxy.
every boy
just
has
cut them off and glue them on.
than mine.
You go right ahead.
Especially since I refuse.
The
to
eyelids, the
one.
whole eyelid.
Hey,
Just take them. Just pluck them one at a time. Cuticles and everything. I say cuticles. I meant to say
no, you said
Cuticles,
cuticles.
right?
You're talking. Why are you talking
you
about
mean
cuticles?
roots.
Yeah, like
But
the.
like eyelashes do have cuticles.
Oh, they do. Okay, I was right.
Do they?
All hairs do.
All do, yeah.
Wait, I thought cuticles was this part of your fingernail.
Is
It's
But it's,
cuticles can be more than one thing, bud.
yeah.
like a sphincter. You have a lot of those.
Sphincter. Fun.
Thank you,
People only
Josh.
know about the butthole, but you have a lot.
There's
Hold on
another
now.
one past that. There's 2 in your esophagus, your stomach,
Look, just because that one's the most fun doesn't mean it's the only one we know about.
flesh apertures.
That's gross.
Why is that gross?
I'm blaming all of us on Joey. This is Joey's
All right.
fault. Can we-
I'm in
Thanks, Joey.
Can we
a
just
good
agree?
mood right now. And
No,
I'm
you're
being
good. No, Doxy,
too
you're
much.
You're
awesome.
good.
But let's just blame it on Joey. Can we agree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Rena.
Thanks, Joey.
Rena, if somebody can clip this and send it to her. Rena, we're blaming it on Joey. Is that canon? That's the question. Moving on. All right, so
Oh no.
so yeah, the shit, what was I saying? Sorry. Your research. As you're doing your research to figure out what's going on with this one, you're trying to find out if there are any rumors of this, so on and so forth. The best that you can find is old kids' stories about dwarves that exist. And it's literally, it talks about, we're talking just old folklore, kid stories about, long ago, there was a time where only dwarves existed in the world and so on and so forth. It's little things, and honestly, most of it is absolutely kind of goofy and ridiculous. It's kind of like boogeyman, esque stuff, nothing really stands out as, unfortunately, being particularly useful. Could you do me a favor? Could you actually go ahead and roll me a perception check, please, Joshua?
Okay. 12.
Are you happy with your 12?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. So I'll leave it alone at that. With the best you can find is kid stories, and they're not like there's a recent author sticking around that you can go and ask. These are like old ones. You know what I mean? It's the best that you can find, at least as of right now.
Okay.
For you, Oscar, before we go over to Doxy, you were going to have a conversation with Bombo. How are you going to try to set this up?
I'm gonna go through military channels and just see, first of all, what his schedule is like based on the military records, because he would likely record what he's doing through them so that they have means of reaching him, because he's a not just a high-ranking military officer, but he's a high-ranking military officer who has duties in the capital. So he's, not necessarily out in combat all the time, which means that he would actually have to have record of what he's doing, broadly speaking. So I would, first of all, check there and see if it's something that his schedule is open at all for a meeting at any point, just based on regular military channels. And if it is, great, I'll look at scheduling something. And if it isn't, then I guess I will have to figure out another avenue, but that is something I would talk to Chris Ellen and Laszlo about at that point.
Cool.
I'll get you an appointment.
Well, I was gonna say actually, you I have not written your the organization that you're a part of yet.
Thing?
Yeah. I haven't written that for you yet. I'm actually gonna be doing from Sunday through Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna be doing all at-home Zoom call meeting-y things for work, and I definitely am only gonna half pay attention to that stuff. So I'll probably be writing some stuff during that time, which would be nice because it'll give me time to work on that for you. Fair enough. In the interim, just kind of assuming it works based off of what Chris Ellen's is like, and that is pinned in our chat. You can actually roll me a d20 with the modifier that applies, which, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are currently rolling with a +5 right now?
I have no idea.
Is that what
What
Chris
are
Ellen...
you talking about?
Remember you asked for a favor before and you fucking crushed it? When you got tickets to the ballroom and...
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
You guys are currently rolling with a +5, right?
Too far up for me to...
Yeah, it is. We'd have
bother
to... Yeah,
scrolling.
don't worry about it.
I'll
So-
just roll with the +5 and see what happens. Oof, oof, ah!
Do you want to luck die that?
Oh, I don't even remember what the ranges were for success.
10 was
Like,
the
that's-
lowest DC.
Yeah. I mean, and this is a big guy in the organization.
Dude, you either if you want this done, you have to look it. If you don't care, then don't look it.
I think the to be blunt, I think the value of this right now in Oscar's mind is that if he has this meeting, he'll be able to get a read. And getting a read is important no matter what, because then we know what we're dealing with going into. And at this point, even just getting a basic read on him is important for Chris Ellen to be able to talk, and for me to be able to talk about strategic avenues. So I do think it's important to luck. But I don't even know if a 10 is going to be reasonable enough to
There's one way to find out.
Yeah. All right. Fuck it. Well, that helps a lot, actually. That's up to 13 now. I don't know if that improves the DC.
It's a good number.
There you
13's a
go.
13
lucky
is
number.
a good number. It's the best number it can be with the roll
In
preview.
October.
It's especially, yeah, I was just gonna say.
That's true. It is
It's
a special
spooky
number.
season. It's the best number.
That's true.
So the way I was doing it was kind of like this one was degrees of success, more or less how finite of a schedule you can get of his. His
Right.
more open and easy to get your hands on stuff. That is obviously what you're going to be able to... Oh, shit, I did not mean to do that. I meant to add to my...
No,
Well,
I mean,
I'll just add two
well,
back
now
instead.
we know
Sorry
how
about
many you have.
Yeah.
But
I was
more
trying
or
to
less.
add back. I was trying to be discreet and I failed. So you're able to find out some details. Like for instance, you're able to find out it's like when some of his more open meetings are going to be transpiring, but you know about this itinerary before other people do. They kind of like give you a heads up about it, so you kind of like plan accordingly to try to be there, so on and so forth. The only problem, the only downside is looking at the meetings that you're getting your hands on. Nothing looks like you're ever going to be able to catch him by himself. You're going to be catching him with others around, whether they be subordinates or another noble, so on and so forth.
I'd rather do it around subordinates, people who are military as well. If I'm going to choose a time, I'm going to pick a military time, because that's when he's going to be presenting the way that he would present. in terms of leadership. So, because presenting around nobles, he's going to present differently. He's going to present like he would in court, but I'm trying to get a read on him not like he is in court, because we can do that in court. That doesn't matter. Presenting how he does around his military cohorts is more important to me, so I'll be doing that if I can.
Did you, when you took math, because you're a good bit younger than me, did you learn Common Core style versus blunt force memorization? No?
He is way too. He's not that young. Dude.
No, I'm only asking because whenever you make a decision, you always show your work. So
I show my work because I'm a business analyst and I have to show my work.
That's called college, Scott. Anyways, oh no.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. I heard what you said. If that's any consolation.
Well, I just wanted to note before we get into doxies, I want to mark down. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Stop messing with you. Stop at me.
Poor Doxy.
Stop.
Poor Doxy, because we keep having to make her wait.
I just want to mark down like the triumphant or the type of stories that exonerate, or not exonerate, but make the dwarf society seem like awesome and amazing and cool, or heroic parts, so that Doxy has like fuel to boost egos if we do go see them, right? And I want to let Crystalline, I would let Crystalline know about those things. But that's it.
What stories are you referring to? I'm sorry.
You told me that I found a lot of the fairy tales and the folklore and the legends and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Just
Things
to try to give her
when
more
she has that
talking points.
conversation. Gotcha. Okay, but that's more
Yeah.
when she's speaking to the queen, right?
The queen, or if we do go see those people.
Okay,
Maybe
gotcha.
to make them feel like our connection is stronger than you
That's
think.
so cute.
So I imagine you put together a lesson plan of how it is, and she's like, "Just let me read the book." And she's like,
Yeah,
flipping through like a picture
it's
book.
it's like 4 bullet points down into it, like 1.A.2.
She's like, "I know how to read a children's book. Thank you, for mansplaining it to me." No. So you, Doxy, your meeting that you were going to have with her, I believe you set up a lunch to have with Lady Isaac, and so you're going to go and meet with her. So when the time finally comes to have lunch with her, I believe she had said for you to meet her at the location rather than her picking you up, you picking her up, or anything like that. So it was a bit more formal, which is one of the reasons why you were a little like upset about the situation. So obviously the time comes for you to get into your carriage and ride out to, you know, meet her for lunch. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that.
I'm gonna do it.
Hmm?
You spread a yawn. It's gonna happen.
Oh, I hate when yawns spread digitally because it's not even like a real person. You know what I mean? You're like,
I think I dodged it successfully. We're good.
I thought about you one of those yawning commercials and it made me start what I did.
Stop!
I'm gonna go get an Oreo.
God damn it, I can't get a good yawn now, so it's like stuck there. All right, moving on. Sorry. Moving on. So we are, when you go to meet her at this place, obviously it's a really fancy restaurant that the two of you are going to. She's a high noble. She's not going to be slumming at Mickey D's eating Oreos. You know what I mean? She's going to be having some quality.
Please. Come on now.
I love
Everyone
Oreos.
in the highest society.
I love Oreos. I dunk. I don't care if my fingers are messy on stream. I don't care. So you go to meet with her. It's one of those things where the carriage will, you can even walk there. You know, it's not raining out anymore. When you finally go in, you know, there's a maitre d' at the front. They lead you over to where it is that she happens to be, and she's actually already sitting there. When you come walking in, she gives you a bit of a pleasant smile as you come walking over, and I don't know how it is that you introduce yourself. Her being a high noble, she doesn't like stand for you to sit first or anything like that.
Right.
It wouldn't, you know. But how do you approach? Go ahead.
I would try really hard to dazzle her with like my most charming smile, and like she would be able to see the familiarity and love in my face, I think. And I would do a slight curtsy before I pulled my chair out, sat down, placed my napkin on my lap, and pulled myself forward.
Okay.
Lady Isaac?
And she responds with, Chrisellen, thank you for meeting me for lunch.
Thank you for suggesting this place.
It is the finest that we have to offer in Heplon for at least a less messy meal.
I've been dying for a proper charcuterie.
Scott quickly Googles what that word is, and Doxy tells him it's...
Those meat and cheese and jam and nut boards.
Ah, gotcha. Meat boards. Gotcha. Awesome. So, so somebody comes over with a really fancy looking cutting board that has a bunch of things that can be cut. Yes! Nailed it. So smart.
Like nuts, jam.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Like a cuticle. So...
Yeah.
So charcuterie. So it comes over and, so you say that and she says, well, you be in luck because they have quite the display here, or quite the selection here. She says, I do have to say I was a little bit surprised to hear your calling for me. Was there a reason for the lunch?
Several. First, just to enjoy your company. I feel that we could be very good friends.
Could be. Huh.
Do I overstep? Do I understep?
I imagine you're going to step wherever you please. You could actually roll an empathy check on that.
She would answer, typically. That is really bad for Chrisellen.
Do you want to luck dice it?
Guys, can I luck slut?
Of course.
Thank you. This is important to her. Fuck!
So anyways, nothing major on it. You can definitely tell that she seems to be a bit distant, you know what I mean? But you can't really get much more than that. So she says, like I said, she says to you, I imagine you're going to step where you please. And your response was typically?
I would laugh, like jokingly say, typically.
After you say that, she actually will just kind of like signal for a server or whatever to come over, and she'll order the food that she wants, and then she will gesture towards you and say, but I think she was looking for, and kind of like lets it dangle there. You place your order for whatever it is that you wanted.
Your finest charcuterie spread.
And was there anything else that you kind of like add on, or anything else that Chrisellen would try to add extra to the meal?
I would remember her favorite wine from her birthday, or
Okay.
her favorite drink or whatever.
Yeah, not the...
And order 2 of those.
Okay, awesome. So you order 2 of those, and she'll actually respond and say, I don't need a beverage at lunch, thank you.
2 for me, I suppose.
They leave to...
Welcome to 1.
They leave to go and procure it. And then she kind of falls silent.
Lady Isaac, how was your birthday?
I thought it was delightful.
I hear you went to the theater.
Oh, is that what you heard?
Can I ask what's wrong?
You know, I think perhaps I'm actually not very hungry this afternoon. I am, and I'm quite busy. I have tasks that I need to tend to. If you don't mind, and she'll actually stand up.
I'm gonna place a hand on her hand and say, Lady Isaac.
She looks down at your hand and then gives you like she looks back at you again. Roll an empathy check. Are you happy with your 14?
No. I'm trying.
17 is much better.
You can see She has a very pained look in her eyes. She's holding composure with her facial expression, with her stiffness of her body, so on and so forth. But her eyes, they unfortunately give her away. You can see she's holding back tears.
I am begging you to come to my quarters.
Are you?
I am.
And why would that be?
Because clearly we need to have a discussion. Without prying eyes and ears.
When?
I will make time whenever.
Send word then. And she stands up and she briskly walks, like she pulls her hand away, stands up and briskly walks out of the room.
I eat my charcuterie.
The big question is, does Chrysellen keep the happy outlook? Like, ooh, it's delicious.
I imagine it's salted with a few tears. Like, she's very confused.
Oh, that's nice. Because it actually kind of
Rough
like mixes
cuts.
with the mixes with the cheese a little bit. Adds, so it's almost like a sauce. It's nice. It's nice. It's good. I suggest you all cry on your cheese before you eat it.
Biology sauce.
Biology sauce. Ew.
There are so many different varieties, though. You really need to specify.
Yeah, this is a creamy white one. So,
Stop.
yeah. Anyways, so moving on, she finishes up, unfortunately, her meal alone. They serve the food just as though she was still sitting there opposite you, each one of the dishes and so on and so forth, even though she isn't. And
I would also ask the waiter to wrap up the food that Lady Isaac had ordered for herself.
it's like waste not, want not. Girl's gotta pay bills.
I'm going to offer it to her when she comes to my quarters. And I will send a letter immediately, as soon as I can, to her that just says tonight.
Okay. So you don't get a reply instantly. Eventually, you're going to be able to kind of meet up with your two friends later on in the day, and again, there's results that we have all procured until this point, and you kind of discuss amongst one another where the various spots are standing.
You can see that Chrysellen is distraught because she lets her guard down around you two.
Did you forget?
I'm not sure. She's very upset with me.
I believe Lady Arceum remembers.
She does. I spoke with her.
If she's upset with you, then she very likely remembers. Not to mean that you did anything to upset her necessarily with that. You may have, I don't know, but why would she have reason to be upset with you or that much?
It might be
emotion
my
put
fault.
into it? What did you do?
What did you
I
do?
approached the Arcane Congress in front of her party.
Right.
You could blame it on me, it's fine. I'm the idiot. RCM has always been distant in court, so it's not a loss for me.
Well, I do have very important wallowing to do, so if you guys don't have anything that you'd like to discuss.
I'm going to be meeting with Bobo and several other military figures. Couldn't find a time in his schedule where it was just him. He's very busy, but this will give me a read on how he's going to behave around his subordinates. I've never had the pleasure of meeting the man, so this is going to be an opportunity for me to understand him a little bit better. Maybe get a bit of a feel for what we're dealing with.
I walk over to my bookshelf and I like run my finger along several books. I'm like, and I pull one out and it's it's basically the Aurorum version of how to make friends and win people over. And I hand it to Oscar, and I'm like, no offense. Just use it to your disposal.
Diplomacy for dummies. Can we give a copy of that to Rayron?
Oh,
I mean, honestly, he definitely needs the.
What is it? It's like chicken soup for the soul. What is the
chicken soup for the soul
Chicken
is
soup for the soul
one
is
of
a
them
thing, but it is
that's
certainly not a how to make friends.
That's
anyway.
like a
Yeah.
that's like a parenting thing, isn't it? For the most
Yeah,
part,
it's
there
something
are
like-
ones.
There were so many. There's
were
like
so
many,
for
yeah.
teens, for pets,
Right.
etc.,
Right,
etc.
chat? Make up a name.
It's just touching stories, typically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what would that be?
I did some research, Chrisellen, about the people that call themselves dwarves. There's a couple of kids books. I couldn't find any actual knowledge on them, but I found some kids books that you might be able to use to boost egos and do your talking thing with. I can have them. I can ask for some of those books to be sent over.
Fables are not without their uses.
Yes, but I can't find any information on them or the Sill. The Sill makes sense. The Arcane Congress is forcibly silencing knowledge of them, I believe. But the dwarves, I'm shocked. I wonder if they've really been isolated for so long away from us.
Perhaps
If-
they want to be.
Have we considered not looking in books, but speaking to the people who might have actually had interactions with them?
The only one we already spoke to Heathguard, and he barely knew anything.
Right.
Arceum.
She might know, but more what I was thinking is, do you know what happens when we don't know anything about a group of people that comes into our nation? What happens? What do we do about that? How do we learn about them? How do we get information? How do we strategize?
What man always does.
I put a banana in his ear.
My point is, we have an
Usually,
entire
actually,
branch.
a rifle.
We have an entire branch of the military that does reconnaissance and intelligence and review, and we haven't spoken to them about this yet. And these are people who have come into our nation and who apparently no one knows anything about. I don't mean the Sill, obviously. I don't know how we would get any information about that, but the
Oscar.
dwarves. Yes.
Laszlo,
Mm-hmm.
find out who was on the council when the king was still ruling.
It's a very fair point.
Scott, can I remember? I was there.
But you weren't there when the dwarves visited.
He had a court. He had
He
a
had a
court when I
court,
first was there with a spear to my
That's
neck.
true.
You were very much a guest at the
Yeah.
time that you
Yes.
first came, and you were very emotional for that first meeting. So
Yeah.
honestly, I am going to require an intelligence check on this one for you.
Is this historical lore?
No, going and looking this up would be right. Intelligence check to remember. That's right, bitch. Yes.
It's easy enough to find out if you can't recall.
Yes, I can look at I'll go look at the records in the castle.
Speak with them. I really need a good cry.
If you need anything, just reach out.
I'm sorry. I took my chance when I saw it.
I'm not angry.
Just disappointed.
Amulta's needs are greater than mine.
Well, I hope yours are met in the near future as well.
Oh, so do I.
And Oscar's gonna take the book from you and leave.
And when she hands it to you, she's like, really, really no offense.
I've read, I think, similar books to this in the past, so it's not offensive to me. Any knowledge is good knowledge. I just don't always retain it.
Perhaps you've learned a little about learning since then.
Maybe. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. Laszlo will stand there awkwardly for like 10 seconds, just like, I should say something. I should, and he'll just walk out.
I love the fact that he goes to his room with a book and he's like, I'm pretty sure I have one. And he's holding this like nicely kept, well-written book about diplomacy. And he pulls out his copy of it. And he's like, well, honestly, aren't they the same thing? And he realizes the other one was written by somebody by the name of Hindleton Corvain. And he's like, maybe the lessons of diplomacy I learned in this book should be discarded. So, moving on.
I like the idea that in his room he has like the whole series, right? Diplomacy.
What about the D in diplomacy?
Oh gosh.
Anyways, so yeah, Doxy, let's flash forward again. That evening, you received a notice by literally something coming in. When you open the door to discover whoever it was, they say, the Lady Isaac is on her way to meet with you. She'll be here in 15 minutes time.
You have my gratitude.
Right.
I'll slip him a coin.
Yep. And so they leave or whatever. About 15 minutes later, I don't know how it is you try to prepare your room in that short period of time.
I would prepare her leftovers.
Okay.
I would
Beep, beep, beep,
lay out drinks. Oh.
ding.
Doxy knows not to use a microwave. Chris Ellen certainly knows.
Hey, if you use a microwave the correct way, you can really do a good job reheating. Depends on what you're eating, though. So, just don't put it on
Never
high.
meat in the microwave.
You can, depending on the
No.
meat, you can put it on a low setting for intermittent amounts just to heat it up. But again, it's
Only for defrosting and hot dogs. That's it.
oh, I don't eat hot dogs. Ugh.
Love
A
fucking
controversial
hot dogs.
thing. Hot dogs are meat.
I
Not
mean,
good meat, but
maybe
they
where
are.
you're from, hot dogs are meat. But
Oh
not where
no,
we
fair
live.
point. Fair
Yeah.
point.
Penises and lips are meat, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still count.
And can we get a couple of awesome hot dog gifts thrown into the Thronekeeper spoiler chat? I would really appreciate that. And you can ping Doxy a few times for it. You know which ones I'm talking about. You know which ones. All right, so you're welcome, Doxy. So when the you get it ready, my apologies, you get the food ready. And what else did you say you did?
I would lay out several comforts, the hookah, like bath oils and stuff, and her favorite drink.
I imagine you didn't have to worry about things like painting on your face because you would have been very prepared well in advance. So throughout the evening for it.
I imagine she doesn't tend to mess with makeup very much because she spends the night so often, and she wouldn't want to be seen with like day after makeup, right?
I hear ya. So
She's just frustratingly naturally beautiful.
So anyways, you would my apologies, I was just thinking of something funny. So you eventually there's again a knock at the door.
Oh, I would have, as soon as I was done, I would have gone downstairs and waited outside for her carriage to arrive.
My apologies. So the carriage pulls
Sorry.
up. And of course the coach driver would come over and open the door, and then you would, I imagine.
I would not let him. I would
not even open the door?
stop
Okay.
him. I would open the door. I would offer my hand.
Okay. She takes the hand.
And then I would wrap my arm around her arm and say, "Shall we?"
I suppose.
And when we make it to my chamber, her senses are assaulted by all of her favorite fucking things.
Okay. I gotta change this music. We're like listening to boss music. It's just throwing me off. It's not working for me.
You need the Majula music.
I don't know what that is.
I forget what the Majula theme song is called. But
That's
I know it's Dark Souls 2, which is the music that you use.
all right. I just put on a different one. Actually, you know what? Let me just switch this one to my ambient one. This one will be better. Okay. This is just relaxing. This is much more fitting for the mood rather than boss music. Where it's like, you know. So you wrap your arm into hers and you start leading her into the thing, and she transforms into a demon now. So and you start leading her up to your room. Do you say anything for the walk? Because she doesn't start a conversation.
I would wait until we were
Okay.
in my chamber.
You get to the door and you open it for her, and she goes walking in, where because of the time of year and the fact that it's evening, she'll remove her coat. I imagine you take it and you'll go and bring it. And I imagine you also put on an evening like thrall or something to go downstairs, and you go and hang the two of them up. She's just kind of standing over by the doorway. She doesn't walk in any further or make herself any more comfortable, more than say a couple of steps where there's like a little table or something like that nearby in that hallway. Flowers or something sitting on it, right? So she will say she's kind of like takes a couple extra steps in. She's almost like fiddling with one of the flowers that are sitting there, like playing with a petal. And then you come walking back into that room with her.
At least, please.
Please what?
Tell me why you're being so cold.
I could ask the same thing.
So you remember?
It's a little offensive, you're asking that question, Chrysalin.
Well, then, if you remember our discussion.
I remember your discussion.
Your bed,
yes, I remember all of it. Of course I do.
Where memories or time itself are being manipulated, and I had to know. I wasn't going to just dive bomb you with a kiss in the middle of a restaurant.
Or, even say a word to me at court, or even just a slight glance or anything at courts when you first came back to the city, or maybe the several days since then, any word whatsoever?
Chrysalin, her posture will kind of break, and she'll start to laugh a little, and she'll say, "Of course. You're not going to believe me."
Do you have wine?
And I gesture to the little eating nook.
And she'll go over and she picks up the glass of wine. She doesn't sit. She does one of those, arm crossed and the glass like sitting out. The the posture. We've all seen it. It's not a pleasant one. Hip slightly popped.
And then I'm gonna say,
Auntie's not happy.
Would it help if I told you how beautiful you look?
She said, I suppose it's a start, but flattery won't get you too far right now.
And then I'm going to come up and I'm going to press my hips to hers and I'm going to brush her hair out of her face. I'm going to say, you're never going to believe me.
Roll I think it's seduction if you have it. If not, then just communications. I know you're waiting for a level up to get seduction, but I'm mean.
I'm lucking it.
Oh, that was so good. Is 3 enough to flirt? I don't think so.
It doesn't matter.
So it's one of those things where when you do that, you can see she is trying not to swoon. You can see she's trying not to fall into it, but there's definitely those little tells that she's kind of falling back into the comforts that she had however long ago it was at this point in time.
Is she wearing the perfume I got her?
Oh, of course she is, because she's not an ass. She's an ass. So she's there, and before you give your next line, you can see that even though you can get these tells and whatnot off of her, she definitely is still kind of a little stiff and says
standoffish.
To you,
Sure.
And she does say, "Go on."
Please sit, because I need time to intercept if you run for the door.
She looks over at the couch, looks over at the door, and then says, I might still make it in time. And then kind of pulls herself away from you and goes and sits at the couch.
I'm gonna bring the platter with her leftovers, set it on the coffee table, and then I'm going to say, our time in court, for me, was before our time at your birthday. I've spoken to the Lady Arceum, and time is being manipulated by powerful magics that we do not understand.
I remember you explaining this before. I remember you saying it while we were lying in bed that evening.
I thought it was memories then. It's time itself.
But when you passed through it again. Why didn't you?
Because I didn't. I
Want
didn't
to?
pass through it again.
Oh. What do you mean?
I think it's very safe for you to assume how I feel, Elise.
I don't think anything's safe at the moment, so keep explaining. I'll decide. She takes a sip.
And I will like try to convey I respect that. And I'll say, when I left to come and visit you for your birthday, for me, it was after court. We had not spent any time alone together before then. Not a moment. When I came back, it was after court. Do you see?
You've still been here for days. If we haven't spent any time together, there's only one person that can be blamed for that.
I was scared. I'm sorry.
Scared of...
You not remembering?
Roll a your persuasion check on this one. I mean, you're being honest. It's just whether or not you get it through. Oh my god. I imagine the amount of emotion thrown behind that line, just like the dead look in the eyes, just the you're not remembering. Like
Chrysan would even tear up a little bit, like her eyes would be shimmering, would be pooling a little. I could not bear the thought of you not remembering, of you looking at me like a stranger.
She, with that one, she kind of, you can see, you don't have to roll for it. You can see that the kinks in her armor are very much cracking, you know what I mean? She is feeling for you, you know, she feels that, like, obviously, as much as she's hurt, she can tell that obviously you were hurt too. And it's one of those fun moments that we've all been in life where you know that you're both individually hurt because of each other, but not necessarily because of each other.
Faults of each other, right?
Yeah. And so thank you for saying it better. But that doesn't put entirely aside the negative feeling that she had. So she's starting to feel guilty and whatnot as well, but also
I'm gonna
still
grab
a
her
little
hand.
offended. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna immediately grab her hand and I'm gonna say, I should have been braver. I should have been braver for you. I shouldn't have risked your hurt. I will never, ever make that mistake again.
Oh, I'm gonna like cover his face like he's Wade. So she it's like a little moment, and then it kind of like all cracks because she had a lot of feeling for you. That was a pretty intense time and everything, and she kind of like almost lurches, but like kind of leans in quickly to give you a hug, and she gives you that hug, but almost immediately also feel like a wet splatter as she jumps forward too quickly, and a little bit of wine splatters out of the glass and onto like your dress and the couch and stuff like that, which caused her to like pull back a little too quickly because she felt bad about the splatter and ends up splattering a little bit more.
As she's pulling back and pull her back in and just kiss her.
Okay, cool. And so I imagine that goes on for it because it's a very passionate one with that little roller coaster the two of you just went through. That goes on for like a minute or so. And finally, when it's one of those when she pulls back only partially, leaning her forehead against yours. And she says, I won't lie, I was not prepared to be as upset as I was.
Pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Please stay.
I didn't intend on doing so, and so I've already made other plans for the evening, other conversations that I need to have.
Then let me come with you.
They're matters of diplomacy that are outside of...
I'm a diplomat.
Yes, but not sitting on the council.
I'm really pretty.
And she'll actually do one of those, like, run the finger along the jawline and says, I didn't say I can't stay for a bit.
Come back after.
You can see she's really weighing the options on that one and says, perhaps maybe instead you could join me after.
Whatever your will.
And then I imagine from this point, real conversation doesn't necessarily need to happen.
Just pleasantries and
yeah.
I love you, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
love you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm sorry, I love you.
I'm so sorry. I was one of those I knew for like, I don't know if I remember the last time we played a session was, I was holding on to that one for so long, like, oh, it's been so long, they haven't talked. Like, she's gonna be so mad. Like, I was like, poor Doxy.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about it, but we came back and then like the whole day I did shit, then the next day you did shit, and then the next day you saw her. I didn't even think about that.
And that was, don't forget, in the future.
Like weeks after her birthday.
Yeah, so-
Like, yeah.
She was pretty upset. So I was like, oh, I explained it to Brittany, and she's like, why are you such an asshole? I'm like, because emotions are real, man. Like, so, anyways, Brittany felt bad that I was being an asshole to you, if that makes you feel any better. So,
Tell Brittany I'll kiss her on the mouth.
I have a really nice camera. Records in 4K.
She
Just
can have half the tips on OnlyFans.
Just saying. Anyways, whew, it's got warm in here. Does anybody else need to take off their clothes? No. Josh, please don't. That wig though would be nice.
What? Oh, the wink. No. I thought you said wink. Yay. I was gonna say she could use a stunt. Her stunt points.
You guys,
on
I'm
Speedy's
so
search.
relieved right now.
Like half the time.
Selling. I'm so happy in this moment.
I won't lie. I am too. It took a while to be able to get that out. So I'm glad. Yay. All right.
You were
cool.
such a douche with your wording. Trying to be like, I don't want to give it away yet. Let me just make it seem neutral.
I'm so sorry. I won't lie. That killed me a little bit. It did kill me a little bit. So let's back into it. So the two of you again, you have moments of pleasantry, so on and so forth, and really no more details than that needs to happen. And then of course, like she said, she will most likely send for you to come join her later on in the evening. But there's going to be a gap of time because she went to you in the evening. It sounds like she's going to be having nighttime meetings, which is maybe a little peculiar. The two of you were going
Sounds not jealous type. It's all right. It's all right.
No, and probably
I'm
not.
super
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. But either way, so because I don't mean to sound crass. She doesn't need to do that kind of diplomacy. She actually
Right.
has like rank and so on and so forth. But moving on. So, you met her. You can you know for a fact. So, yeah. She's sweet as a button all the time. It's so annoying. So you two, were both of you looking into who was actually in charge at that time? Because, what's his name?
Look, I don't have anything else to do.
You have homework. You go read. All right.
Yeah, you're going to a library to do research. I'm going to be sitting
Yeah,
at one of the
okay.
tables and reading, and if you can bounce things off me if you need to.
Oscar, here's the thing. You
What?
speak when you're reading, and it annoys me.
Yeah, I need you to hear what I'm saying
No,
from the book
you-
to verify that I'm reading it correctly. This is a
Do you always have to breathe that heavy? How many times was your nose broken?
that's a very personal question.
Fine, let's go to the library.
Thank you.
I just imagined him as being, I don't remember the actor's name or the character's name, but Breakfast Club, he's the one with like the trench coat and the fingerless
Oh
gloves.
fuck yeah! What's his name?
Oh god.
The bad boy.
Yeah,
The
right?
Mr. at the end.
I got a carton of cigarettes.
Like,
Oh god! Yeah.
I definitely see as him being that one in the library. Every once in a while, he like balls up a piece of paper and throws it at Laszlo.
Just sitting there. I can see him like tossing, like tapping a knife on the table or like tossing it in his hands while he's reading.
You know the whole thing where you do that, like really fast with the knife.
Yeah.
I had a unfortunately I have to admit that he was a buddy of mine back in high school. I'm upset that I have to admit that he was my buddy back in high school because he's kind of a neo-Nazi. But anyways,
nice.
people go different paths in life. But back in high school, before you really understood that stuff, because the world was slightly different back then. 16 years ago. He was one of those people that wore an all black trench coat with all black clothes and chains hanging from his pants, and he would always have a knife, and he would do that thing at the table, and yeah. Anyways, interesting fella. Moving on and away from that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. So, by the way, if you roll between a 1 and a 5 on a D100, Rosin, that's a natty 1, so you're a failure, a critical failure, and automatic. Just so you know.
Actually, I think they were rolling to see how much of a better half Brit was.
Played by Judd Nelson.
So-
The character's name is John
John
Bender.
Nelson.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Played by Judd Nelson. Character's name is John Bender.
A 4 and a 5 and a 4. What are the odds? Like 1 in 100 each time.
Wow.
Well, the
Yeah,
four of us
that's-
to see whether or not we fuck that guy. So we don't. Okay. So, moving
Okay.
on.
So yeah, I'm just gonna
Not
go
broken,
and
just checked.
I'll go look through the boring transcriptions of what I can actually have access to, because I would imagine some of the court documents are sealed, if they're even like.
Oh, no, but being who is actually on the council would be relatively public knowledge.
Okay.
That should
Okay.
be easy for you guys to do. So
Yeah.
you go.
But I'm not doing that.
Oh, sorry.
I know I was told to do that, and I'm trying to get that information secondhand. I actually want to look up my like if there's any transcript of the meetings that happened that preceded mine, to see if how much of it, like, I want to be nosy and see how much they talked about me before they actually talked to me.
Oh, you're trying to get your hands on that shit
Yeah.
just by looking through a library?
I mean, would it be available? Would I know if it'd be
No.
available or not? Okay.
That
Then
not
I would
be
just
sitting
look
inside
up.
the regular library. That would be removed from there and put in a different location.
Okay. Yeah.
That
All
would
right.
be
I just look
kept
up the.
on
I would just like to
file.
see the.
Because the queen has her own private library where she has records of all these important meetings and whatnot that she can reference back to. It's part of being able
Cool.
to rule, you know? So
I need to learn that teleport shit and get in there.
oh, you have to know its location first, otherwise it could be a very dangerous teleport.
Insult people when you speak to them.
Who
That seem right
wrote
to you,
this book?
Laszlo?
Who wrote this book?
I mean, this just seems wrong. I don't.
All right, I'll just look to see who the head of houses were in the council, what the makeup was. And I actually want to, if I have time, this is secondary, I want to look up the record of Heathguard.
Poor Rosin was yelling, "It's terrible but adorable!" Sorry. So
Stop watching.
you're gonna look up Heathcart? What about it?
Just his history, his lore, like find out more about him.
The actual, like, the savant Heathcart.
Yes.
Sure, you
Yeah.
roll me a lore check on that one, a research check on that one, sorry.
Damn it! This is history. Historical lore should apply.
But you're researching.
Uh, 17.
Still really good.
It's a really
No, it's not. Historical lore, he has to give me a bunch of information. And I can reroll it.
good. It's really good, just not as good as, right?
Yeah, it's still 17 is still really good.
Right?
Yeah,
Look-
that's fine.
Like
It's
a
fine.
2020 Honda Civic is really good, but I'd rather have a Maserati.
Really? Really?
I'll be honest with you, I would rather have the Civic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
only
Upkeep on a Maserati is just insane.
They're
I've
so
only ever owned
small.
Civics. I only own Civics.
well,
Love
I'm, yeah,
Civics.
also the size. I actually don't fit in.
Yeah, you guys are tall as hell. I'm short and I still think they're small. Like,
Watching little Eric, funny calling him little, my brother Eric, drive a Civic around was absolutely amusing.
I
loved
really
it.
want to get him in my smart car sometime.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
oh, that would be hilarious.
Oh, God.
It's so roomy to me. Like I'm like, there's so much. It's
Feet
bigger on
dangling.
the side.
I will tell you, I don't fit very well in a smart car, so Eric will not fit very well in a smart car because he is bigger than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine Eric and William, like my brother
God.
William,
Yeah.
sitting in the smart
Oh,
car side by
God.
side. Oh,
That would
boy.
just be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
The car
that's
is just like,
TV
nope.
show.
Nope.
That's just a TV show waiting to happen. It's just, you know.
Nope. All right, so you do this research, and you're definitely able to find out about the history of this man. First and foremost, Heathcart does not come from a noble family. He's a man that served he comes from a family that has served in the military generation after generation, like everybody does, but more than just the minimum 2 years. Up until him, most of the people that served were all kind of like, smaller military officers, nobody that really stood out or had much of like a big role. However, he made his what's what I'm looking for. He kind of had his breakout moments pretty early in his career as an officer. He came out of officer school. Obviously, the war is transpiring, so on and so forth. That was starting to happen with Paradel, and he was among the front lines in the early time frame because it wasn't a war zone long ago, right? That was actually just a peaceful border to keep an eye on, but you knew the Paradel to be wary of them and blah 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 blah. Well, he was among one of the first few soldiers. He unfortunately lost a lot of battles because a lot of land in the eastern area of Aurorum was lost. I'm out here. Amulta was lost, but even though he lost battles, he did so with incredible grace. He saved lots of soldiers' lives, made the losses a lot lesser than they could have been, was able to hold on to defensive positions far greater than others. He was just kind of he has like tactical brilliance. He even has, it's even said that he was the only person that was able to consistently go up against, what's that person called? Leon Jaeger. Commander Leon Jaeger, multiple times, time and time again, was able to go up against him. And while losing, they were very marginal losses, not incredible ones, because the two of them had a bit of an understanding with one another. So that's how he was able to kind of gain his own rank and position. And the king, it's known that the king just genuinely appreciated his outside of the box way of thinking and approaching stuff. But unfortunately, as he got older and older, and you can see this in just his approach to situations, generally speaking, as you get older, you stick more to what you know, and you become a little bit less willing to go outside the box. And so his approach to things became a little less nuanced and a little bit more predictable. But he was still a really good advisor because he has lots of experience and so on and so forth. His son lacks all of his brilliance. His son's kind of daddy's boss.
Also, does it state any word about his lineage back to before Amulta succeeded from Goldaria, or is it he was just a nobody, right? He came from a nobody family.
He came from a family that just served.
Ascended,
his wife, however, is actually somebody that had a noble lineage. He was able to catch.
Yeah, I don't care about her. I don't care about her.
Cool.
I don't care about her. I'll completely ignore her because I am looking for something very specific.
The way you said
was I able to find out the? Yeah, obviously, if someone was a bastard child, that's not their mother. Did I find out about the council? Because I wanted to look that up first. I figured that'd be an easy thing to find out.
So most of the people would still be the same. A few, like Lady Arcium was definitely on the council back then, as she previously stated. So let's see. I just want to make sure I get the different persons. Tidric, Brintel would still have been there. Isaac actually would not have been there at the time, because she would have been too young. What would have sat in that spot before her actually would have been Lady Isaac's mother. Would have had the spot before her. Lady Isaac's mother, my apologies, is still alive. She just stepped down from the council, and her daughter took over. Let's see, Garrett Bombo, he's Oathkeeper. So he was definitely there. He's been there for a long time. Qatar was not there at the time. Orville was not there. Nadia Karovsk was not there. Lady Arcium was. So Arcium was, Bombo was, and Brintel was.
And Isaac's mother, who we might actually be able to.
Yeah, Isaac's mother is somebody that could be approached, in theory.
When I see Bombo, I'll show Oscar right away and be like,
LD says, flirt.
Well, you could ask him for more specifics. He was on the council at the time.
I suppose that depends if I insult him while speaking with him or not. He might, according to this, not like that.
Yes, you have to peacock. You have to wear something very standoutish and something that draws their attention to you. But then you insult them and then compliment them right afterwards. It's called a clapback or something. I'm not too sure about it.
I think what I will do, because this is a military man, and if I go in, you said peacocking?
Yeah, I mean, it could be your uniform. Maybe your helmet is overly shiny. Blind the guy.
I think what I'll do is I'll just go in uniform and appropriately speak. I don't know. This is
you know about. I'm not.
He's my superior. Like, I need to go and speak with him about something more, really genuinely asking for his advice on course of action. So
okay. I mean, I would think though that he might have an insight on maybe their military strength, the presentation they set for themselves when they showed up. You may not get the information that Kercellin would, but you get the information that you would need, more structured and militaristic.
That's honestly what I'm looking for, but the thing is, I can give impression of how he acts and how he behaves around his subordinates. You can tell a lot about someone by how they command.
Yes. Speaking of which, I looked into Heathguard, and supposedly he was very good as a general.
One of the best.
I didn't realize he rose to prominence. He came from not a noble family. His wife, I skimmed over it. It's some garbage. But Heathguard, I'm impressed. I was hoping to maybe find out some information for Kercellin as an apology. But
I don't think you need to worry about an apology. You never know what's happening, but it's Kercellin. I'm sure she's managed to smooth things over within minutes of us leaving.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And if she didn't, she will chew us both out for it, and we'll both never hear the end of it, and we'll just have to do our best.
All right.
Hey, look, if there's one thing you and I have in common, it's that we're both really stubborn.
I don't think so. I'll smile.
I didn't have a point apart from that. I just wanted to tell you that you're stubborn.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. I just don't want to lose the only two friends I've made.
Well, I'm going to assume you're talking about Kercellin and I.
Of course.
Okay, then, well, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm sure Kercellin won't either.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go read some more. You should too. You're only on page 5, and it's been like 3 hours.
I mean, I've been distracted.
I'm sorry, it's so rude. That's not canon, guys. That's mean.
To be fair, I actually came back to this chapter. I actually read through the next 2 as well. If you look at this one, though, this one is exclusively about the way that you groom your undergarments. I don't understand why this is relevant.
You wear undergarments?
Yes. One
Yes, me too.
specifically. I don't believe you.
I got books. I'm gonna go back over to the books.
All right. Oh, hey, it says here not to talk about people's undergarments. That's news.
By the way, we're in a library, so
yeah, I know.
There's like a person like, oh, how dare him.
Oh yeah, no. The whole point of reading this book is to learn like etiquette and communication, and I'm just sitting next to some nice lady who's trying to have a nice quiet time at the library.
She tugs at the edges of her dress, like trying to pull him down just a smidge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How to use sexual tension. Let's see. This seems like
What is this about? Oh, I see you. So you squeeze your abdomen and pose for the photo by shifting your butt down.
I imagine she's like sweating a little bit. All right, so that's
Ma'am?
it. That's it for me.
Would
I
you
got
like
the
me to
council.
plane your door? Sorry.
I already know how to do that. That's.
I
I'm here
could
to
work it
learn, Scott. I'm here to learn.
I could, ma'am, I could really work it straight. Don't worry.
So, I am going to be reading through this book, but also, like, I'm just kind of watching Laszlo, seeing what he's doing, what sections of the library he's going to, and that kind of thing. Like, actually trying to just see, like, if he's mentally on task or if he's somewhere else.
Oscar? I mean,
Oscar,
Laszlo?
Oscar is looking at Laszlo.
Laszlo, yeah,
watching
yeah.
Laszlo,
I mean, I think Laszlo's on task, yeah.
Mentally,
Yeah.
I mean, more than physically.
I mean, you might
Clearly
occasionally
physically.
argue with somebody that's not there. Shut up. I know this book.
We are in a library.
I was.
You are
I
being
was
very loud.
I was just reaching for that. You don't have to tell me. I know. I know how to read a book. Thank you. No, he is. He's.
Yeah.
He's less driven, probably, than you've seen him before. Like he's kind of Mirandering. Like he doesn't know exactly.
That's kind of what I was wondering if
Focused.
that was happening. Just, if Laszlo was feeling the failure still. Good to know.
Cool. So, moving on. The after that, kind of like, I didn't know if Doxy wanted to come in and spend a moment with them, kind of giving them the good news, or if she just very much waits by for word to come from her, right? Because she's kind of like butterflies in the belly sort of a situation.
She's 1,000,000% at Lady Isaac's beck and call.
Okay,
and that's
cool.
the only thing she's.
I completely understand, absolutely, and it's not that she's simping, because she is. It's just that things are actually going on the up and up, which is wonderful. All right, let's flash forward a little bit. You eventually do get the call for you to go and spend the evening with her, and kind of like that goes well. With the evening that you spend with her, which again we don't need to get into the nitty gritty details, but it ends up being a pleasant evening. Of course, feel free to make your check that you always like to make. It ends up being a pleasant evening either way. But Doxy, you one of the things that she mentions is, so how many times have you left and come back since our meeting? Is there anything else that I missed, or explain it all to me? Which you don't have to explain. I know it. It's good. We'll skip that. Okay. You did a great job with RCM. Let's move on. So she's like, explain it all to me, and you do. You explain it to her. And she kind of like listens to it and everything. And she's like, this is highly unusual. Do you have any idea what could have been the cause of this?
No. It's not often, and I don't mean to brag, that I have no idea, but I have no idea.
It makes sense with how you described it. Your first meetings with everybody, nobody would remember because you know, whereas back in the past from before the first meeting. But the idea that you came back forward and they remember your first meeting, which is the middle meeting, but don't remember the first meeting that was actually the first meeting at my party, that's peculiar. You have no understanding as to why that may have happened. That's strange. I'll speak to my sister, unless you're heading south yourself.
We're not heading south, are we? I'd say it would be.
I know that the two of them wanted an opportunity to speak to the sister.
Yeah. We sent
It
that
would
letter
be
last time.
a
Sorry.
great favor to me, and a huge honor if I could accompany you.
Oh, I didn't intend to go south. I intended to send a letter, but if you were heading south, I would send it with you. She did meet you at the party. She said something nice.
I'll talk to the boys.
On to other matters. Since my birthday's over, and I know you do have a bit of an agenda, and I won't lie, I can't get away from work as long as I'm inside this castle. So, you beforehand was bringing up details about Yovance. I kind of let them go because the moment and everything. But and she kind of will pull you in a little close.
The right call.
Yeah, she'll pull you in a little close, and she says, "I think I can mix work with pleasure now.
Why don't we mix pleasure with pleasure again, and we'll work tomorrow?"
Tomorrow I'm going to be rather occupied. Actually, I might be for the next few days, and it is unfortunately likely I might be, well, occupied for, some time. Unfortunately, business.
Such as dating a diplomat.
As you can imagine, but... She says but, and then as she lets it linger, she says... But, and then she'll actually grab something of yours that might be about, let's say it's like an ascot or like a hairpiece or whatever it is it's about. She says, but I'll keep you close by. And she definitely does like a little cute little like...
so cute! I'm sorry, I love that.
Yeah.
And like, Kersellen's face will reflect that, like she'll big eye her and be like, oh my god, you're so precious. And then be like, okay, work and pleasure it is.
And so you guys, again, obviously you have your fun of the evening or whatever, but in talking about it, I kind of will open it up to you, Doc, see how you want to talk to her about Yovance, because you barely got an opportunity to before.
Firstly, I would be giving her a massage as I was talking about it with her.
Oh my god. If only during business meetings somebody was giving you imagine if at a business, just everybody here, we've all been to business meetings of one degree or another. Imagine getting a massage during that business meeting.
I don't like massages.
That's certainly because you haven't had the right person touching you.
They all say that.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. Like for me, genuinely, like I get really uncomfortable with massages unless it's like there's one person who I trust to do it, and that's my RMT. But like that's because she's been doing it for a while now and fixing me because I'm a broken mess. But even that I don't like. So I'm with you there, Doxy.
I'll fix you, he says, grabbing scissors. No, so
Nope.
I just don't like my feet massaged because I have plantar fasciitis in both my feet. And I definitely have bone spurs and stuff, so like my feet are fucked. So like if you stay above the ankles, you can massage me wherever you want, baby.
I like to give massages. It's a really nice way to be intimate, platonically and romantically, right?
Yeah. I mean, definitely, it is that one of those funny things where there's a fine line, and you can definitely stay to one side of it, and you very easily cross to the other. And there's a million reasons why, but we don't need to talk about the nuance of massage, right?
It's a very interesting chapter of this book. I don't know why they're telling me all about massage. This is very strange.
You grabbed the wrong book on the way out.
Did she give me the wrong? This doesn't seem like the type of diplomacy that I was supposed
How
to.
to get the D. Oh.
I don't know what this is all about.
I've only gotten one massage, and it was in Switzerland, and it hurt.
Only
Like-
one? And I love painful massages. Oh.
No, it hurt. I came back, like, I got my ass beat.
I mean-
I was bruised. It was bad. I was like, I don't like it.
See, I know that over here we tend to have very like relaxate, like our shiatsu massages are very like boring. I'm very much a sports deep tissue. Like I want to sit there and be like, ah! Like when I get a massage, I want it to hurt. Like hurt me, mommy. You know, like that's what I want. So, anyways,
She was nice.
So moving on, you Doxy, Yovance, do the things that you've been trying to do for 2 seasons.
Yeah, I would just basically plant the ideas in her head, sprinkled with flirts and innuendos, right? Like I'm trying to manipulate her a little bit, even though I love her. But I'm telling her that we want to go underground, find these people, and take over Yovance.
But the plan with Yovance is specifically about the currently the factions that exist down there that you just reported, semi-reported into recently, and but not what your plans were at the time of what to do with them, so on and so forth. And do you speak of Landor and of Icarus?
I tell her the full truth.
Okay.
I just flirt with her while I'm doing it.
Persuasion check, baby.
Sure.
You afraid to be a luck whore?
It's a luck slut.
Oh
Mm.
no, I'm a whore.
Yeah, it depends on which one of us you're talking to, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, a 19 is pretty sexy. That's imposing.
That's incredible.
As opposed to nigh impossible, and she's wicked. Yeah. So you're good. You guys got so much luck, and you guys are blowing through it. I love it. So, I honestly, sweet. This is the situation where you need it. So you explain everything to her, and she says, so kind of like after it's all said and done, there's mhms and yeahs and whatnot, and it's like, well, what are your thoughts? And she's like, actually, I not to keep you at arm's length, but I like to hear all the details before I like to divulge my thoughts. And so after you kind of like finish saying everything, and maybe even ask her one more time, like, what do you think? She says, I think I want to chew on it for a little while. Maybe while we enjoy each other's company. And then kind of, goes into maybe you guys have like late night food. And I'm talking like 2, 3 in the morning. You have like maybe some sort of dessert or something like that sent in. And the two of you kind of just relax in bathrobes and just enjoying each other's company or whatever. And then after like, again, a bit of time passes, a good like 2 hours or so. Oh, Jesus Christ, Josh. After about 2 hours or so pass, you... Don't break my rhythm. We haven't played in a while. If you skip a week, it's bad.
Rhythm is very important when chewing on things. If you want to get her to the promised land, anyway.
Take me down to the Paradox City. Okay, moving on. So the so you she eventually kind of like. She eventually kind of gets into the mentality. She eventually says, I understand with what you're trying to do, building almost about a buffer zone, and I get the perspective. Free people fighting harder because they're fighting for themselves, taking away the power of the Paradel and what it is they're offering because you're offering something potentially greater, or at least more immediate, even if not necessarily greater, because frankly, we don't know what the quality of life is going to be for these people. I imagine not good, but there's a difference between fighting for you and fighting for them, and that's a powerful incentive for people. Especially when it's the only truly free option. But the quality of soldiers that they would have, the sheer volume of resources that they would need, even if you are supplying them with these mystical, magical dwarf people from down under, coming up and offering them some sort of aid, even if you are trying to pull in the sill and whatever magics that they have there. Again, these are resource heavy alliances that you'd be making. Who's going to flip that bill? And yes, I understand it's a new nation, and I myself have a good strong foothold in Ascaria, and I could put in a good word for you for a loan, but the banks over there are going to need to know that it's a sure thing that they're investing into, especially when they already have investments over in Yovance that would make things rocky, though they definitely play multiple sides. And beyond that, I don't know if everybody's going to be willing to go for it.
How much would you judge me?
She sits back and she gives you a very longing look, down, and up again, and she says, "Oh, not at all."
If I told you that I'd spoken to Qatar about sending them compromised supplies and giving us the good stuff.
I would say that Josh rolled appropriately. But Twitch chat alone, I think that is a very valid and shrewd thing for you to do, considering what your task is. I think it was a good move. I don't know if he would go. Yeah, he went for it, didn't he? Of course he did.
He's making the same money on both sides.
I understand. I understand. It's practices like, again, the banks often do in Ascaria. My family that lives on this side of the boundaries tends to do things a little bit differently than my family on the other side. But it's how I was schooled classically. I'm familiar.
There are a lot of advantages, I'm saying, that we have that they could not foresee. I have evened the playing field, I think.
On one account. But that's still only one. There's still an incredible amount of supplies that need to... I mean, the quality of weapons is one thing, quality of armor is one thing, but what about food? What about medical supply? What about the goods you need for building infrastructure? It's not like it's a super heavily wooded area down there, and perhaps they don't have lumber mills readily available to them. These are the ideas that come to my mind, and I am not a war strategist at all.
To be frank, that's why we need as many people thinking about it on the council as possible. Because I don't have the mind for that either.
Do you have answers to any of those questions, or are those things that you're hoping other members would be able to answer?
I'm hoping that my humility and charm will win them over to think about it for me.
I hope you don't use the same methods on everyone.
Not everyone. And she'll, like, kind of elbow her.
She chuckles a little bit. So anyways, yeah. So she nods a few times, like to herself for like a little bit. She's kind of like, again, falling in, contemplating. And she'll finish with, if there's a surefire plan, if there's a workable plan, you have my vote. But it has to be something that isn't just going to get everybody killed.
I need you to know, Elise, that even if in the last moment you vote against me, that changes nothing.
I don't intend to, because I actually think it's a better life for the people involved. I think it's a better option for the people involved. But it's good to know.
Good, so, vote for me. And then she'll inquire about her relationship with the one that I fucked up with, Nadia Karovsk.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And see if she could put in a good word for me and find out.
I
what
don't
she
understand
remembers.
how you made Nadia was literally the one that brought forward your name. The reason why you stood before the queen that day was because Nadia fought for you to be there, and others agreed. What did you do?
I choked on a dick. I have no idea.
She's taken aback by that line. So crass, so quick for her. It's like,
What the fuck just happened?
Awesome.
The street Grisella stepped out for a second.
So anyway, she's like,
I've never been so off my game in my life.
and there's no chance that she's forgotten. Likely
There
not.
is a chance, but I'm not counting on it.
If things trended the same with her as they did with Qatar, with Lord Qatar, then likely that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, he doesn't remember me at the birthday party, but he does remember our meetings afterward.
Which means that she might be the same situation.
Right.
So you should probably approach that tentatively.
Or perhaps the diplomat I'm dating could smooth things over.
You have to understand, you're in my room in the castle, in my wing in the castle. Word is likely known to all of the cooks, all of the bakers, all of the servants, everyone throughout the castle that you and I are spending a considerable amount of time together, especially after my birthday in the evening before. So that being said, anything that I say is going to have a bit of a skewed perspective. I don't think I am the appropriate person to do it.
Who should I look to?
Well,
Who would you look to?
she is friendly with Galderia. That's where her family has its strongest ties still, and it's not too insular, whatever the word is. Dissimilar. Thank you, God. I was like, what is that word? Not too dissimilar to myself and Ascaria. That being said, maybe Brintel.
Okay. I'll arrange a meeting.
I mean, he might be able to help you, but
I'll see what I can do.
I hope you understand, though, that he is very pro Yovance alliance.
I'm aware. And I'll even show her, like, my notes and be like, this is what I have.
Oh, she'll kind of, like, leaf through them a little bit and be like, do you seriously write all of your T's like this? And she, like, flips through the page, like, every one of them? And you know, one of those kind of, and again, things kind of devolve from there away from important conversation and into, you know, the two of you just enjoying each other's company and her teasing you about the different things that you do there and so on and so forth. And that we'll kind of have that evening ends there. I guess if you guys had to choose, you have two definitive ones in your camp for anti-Yovance. That's good news. Do you have anybody else that you feel as though might be definitively in that camp? Or anybody else that you want to work on next?
I feel like we have RCM.
I don't think we have her.
We don't.
I think we do.
I think we have an ear with RCM. I
think she doesn't give a shit about it. I think she compartmentalizes the things. We have her respect when it comes to magic and stuff like that, but when it comes to the other aspects of it, he's pointed out that she's a loner. Like, she doesn't really meddle too much outside of her own, like, realm of studies. So I don't know if we can rely on her.
I would also send a letter to Lady RCM inviting her to my quarters again and say, pleasure only.
Ooh.
Let's just hang out.
Yep. Let's see, Brintel, Isaac, Bombo, Qatar, Orville, Karofsk, Arcium. So there's 7. So realistically, if you're going to try to bend the ear of the queen, and then currently there's the other gentleman, Octavius, because what the hell's his name? The Heathguard is currently not there. So 7.5, I guess you could say, are what's sitting there is from your perspective. So if you can convert 4 of them, you're pretty good.
I think the queen is likely, because with my talks to her,
I
she
didn't
was.
include her.
Yeah.
She's the one that you got to convince, because her word is law. It's just a matter of getting them to convince her.
Even getting her on side, if all of her advisors are against it, she'll go against it, right?
Yeah, I think we have her partially swayed with what our talks of, like, what's really going on down there, what it's really like, and all that stuff. I think we have her at least somewhat persuaded, but I wouldn't say she's a guarantee.
In terms of, like, strategically going after people, like Bobmo, I think we just need to get an idea of what he's doing. I don't think
if you can get Bombo, that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you could somehow trick him into thinking that the oath he made to Yovance is for the people of Yovance and not the nobles of Yovance, then you can argue that the people having their own nation is him protecting them more than he'll ever be able to while they have their own nation.
It's literally, I want you to understand, with Bombo, it's literally trying to get Mitch McConnell to back Biden. You know what I mean? It's one of those. Yeah. That's the hardliner.
You can't get him to say no to Yovance. You have to get him to change what he thinks the promise meant. Is what is the thing, because he's not going to break the promise. The oath.
I need to know what the baseline promise was.
And we can't attack his integrity in the process either.
Yeah.
So the question for me there, in terms of research leading up to this, because is Laszlo still kind of just meandering around?
I mean, he's doing the jobs that he was asked to do, but he's not like focused and directive. You can see him; he's not like he wouldn't stay up all night doing this stuff anymore.
Oscar's gonna approach you, and just kind of like, as you're probably muttering to someone behind you that isn't there, like,
yes, I know he's coming. The shadow's huge.
Not that huge.
Oh, hello, Oscar.
Hi. Question for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what Bobmo's original promise was, or what the promise that Amulta made to Yovance was? What was the original agreement in detail? Do you know it?
No, but
Can you find it?
sure. I'm confident. His information shouldn't be that far from Heathguard's.
Well,
Actually,
it's
around
not just necessarily his information. It's a promise that Amulta made to Yovance. So it's more of a matter of court record.
I have not found any particularly special court records. I originally set out to look at mine to see who was on the council at the time, and I couldn't find mine. So I'm assuming powerful political or dangerous political movements aren't going to be easily found.
Who would we speak to about the details of that then?
I know? I know you said that the Queen has a private. Do I know that? Is that it's common knowledge that the Queen has a private study?
No, that was meta.
Okay.
That was meta, but honestly, it's one of those things where you know that those records aren't here, so most likely that's where it is. So.
I would believe it's one of three places. Either there is someone on the council that's considered the keeper of secrets, or the record keeper, and they have all the records. Another thing would be our friend that we messaged recently, the intelligence people. They would probably hold on to a lot of that. And lastly, it could be a private keep of the royalty.
That fellow, Octavius, is that his name? The one who has the ear of the Queen at the moment?
Yes.
Heathguard's stead. What's his deal?
I don't know. I could look into him and Bombo for you. When do you know when you're meeting them? I could stay up all night if need to, and then I can get you the information and crash and sleep during the day tomorrow.
Question, Scott, when was the opening opportunity with Bobo to meet with him for an opportunity where there's other military folk around, subordinates of his specifically?
Oh, sorry, when was that?
Yeah, when was that?
It happens multiple times throughout the day. It's just a matter of making sure that you're inside, like, you know that there's a long walk between location A and location B, because you see, so you're like, I know I can. It's like one of those West Wing moments.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that reference, but you know,
it's a prominent show in history. Yeah, I think
I can make it to several different types of meetings that he's having. Bobmo, that is. So, and there's no hard timeline on Octavius. It's more
okay. So meet me.
The person to ask about records of that kind.
Scott, we're at the end of the day. I'm assuming we did all our checks. The date happened. All that stuff. So I'll say to Oscar, meet me. Come to my room in the morning. I'll stay up all night and get you all the information I can record, and then you can meet him tomorrow. If I were you, set your time up to meet him multiple times. You never know what might interject before you can actually have a good conversation.
What else am I going to be doing?
I don't know, but you put a lot of dents in that table.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just kidding.
I better plane it.
Distracted. It's a very strange book, by the way. Have you read this one?
No, I don't care to get to know people.
Yeah, fair enough. I see why. This is the idea.
Laszlo, come here. Let me try something. Starts rubbing his shoulder in a funny way, and he's like, "Oh, actually, that feels nice."
Huh. It was this moment. It was this moment that Laszlo knew. No.
And then Oscar leaves.
No, yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll stay up all night and crash in the day tomorrow, Scott, to try to get him information on Bombo to set him up for success. Like, give him, short notes on what different experiences and things that he's had, and maybe hopefully try to find or allude to whatever oath he made to Yovance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think that one's going to be a little bit difficult for you to do, but why don't you roll me a research check?
Okay. Am I? You know what? I'm gonna ask for help on this
Can I
one.
actually ask a question as well? Would the promise to Yovance be a military one?
I mean, we have to find out what the promise is, right?
That's
Or what I mean is just is there a
this is
military
more of a
record
council
as well?
thing. I would think it's like more of a council thing, but a very high check might give you the opportunity to do it. Now, mind you, because you've already done. How many are you allowed to do before the DC goes up? I think it goes up after the first one, doesn't it? Let me just get back to Thronekeeper and double check that real quickly.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I thought so. So the DC just goes up.
Yeah.
But you can always try.
We'll find out after when I talk to Laszlo in the morning. It depends
Yeah.
on how successful he was, right? So.
You said
So-
you might ask for help. You mean the ghosty ghosts?
The ghosty ghost. Yeah, I'm gonna ask for maybe someone to aid me on how to like organize my thoughts and make searching for things more efficient in a library.
All right. First, you take this thought and you put it in A.
Yeah.
And then you take this thought and you put it in B.
Wow. I developed this system. My name is Dewey, by the way.
Yeah.
I've developed this cool system of organization. All right, so first is the intelligence check to see if it even works. It does, with a minimum of 13.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
And then would this be historical or just research?
Let's get research.
All right, so I just get a +2 on this. 20.
Are you happy with the 20?
He said it was a hard check, and this
Fuck
might give
it.
you a big boon. I'm just
Fuck
saying
it.
it might give you a boon, and you need it when you're trying to talk to people.
Fuck it, luck it. 21 is a beautiful.
Is that the yes? Nigh impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ha! I saw. Ha!
Okay.
With
So-
some points too.
With 4 stun points. Yes.
So, is there anything with those 4 stun points that you can do, want to do,
I could do research at hand, but I don't know if that would help.
What does it do?
That's the one that gives you the focus of the same ability.
Gotcha.
I don't think that'll help. But
So it'll be under the historical records that the what Bombo actually did was when the people of Yovance came pleading for aid, so on and so forth, against Peridel, what Bombo actually made a vow to do was to protect the people from the the people of Yovance from the impending doom, like to the best of his ability, obviously, as opposed to just like it will definitively happen, because he's obviously not an idiot. But against the impending doom that is the Peridel army, to defend the people from their onslaughts and what it is that they would bring, like the horrors that they would bring to their border, their people, so on and so forth. So he kind of just protects the fact that they have their freedom from Peridel
Okay.
rule.
wow, I'll
Imperial rule?
smirk at that. Look at the ghost and be like, that's funny.
I don't get it.
Stupid ghost. All right, cool. Found that out. Is there anything that I could learn about him that might help sway the conversation? Is he known to be dry? Is he known to be like what his strategies are in battle to maybe manipulate that into his own personality? Like if he's very rigid and logical thinking in battle situations versus very free flowing like Heathguard was known to be, right? Thinking out of the side of the box.
Garrett is known as Oathkeeper. Is a stern, humorless man that believes military action is not only the best, but also the most swift and surefire way to resolve conflict. A man of his word, and someone who is not willing to back down from a fight. He is very severe.
All right. So I'll make all these notes, and then when the morning comes, I'll hand them over to Oscar and just crash.
Thank you, Laszlo.
Yes. If I was to advise Chris Ellen, I would probably tell her to focus on the protection of the people aspect of the oath. If you focus on the Perrin, what we're doing won't help you or them.
Right.
Could you do me a favor, Laszlo, from your research that whole night? Can you go ahead and roll me a perception check?
Oh, I'm being watched.
What? No.
13.
Are you
By the way, I still have the +2. I'm not using if it's an illusion of any sort.
It's not an illusion. Get over yourself. Are you happy with 13?
Yeah, I am.
Cool. What do you do the next day when you have this paperwork, sir?
Sit there and read it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm planning to go and speak with, what's his rank again?
He's actually a high lord. So
Yes.
so he's a savant, of course, but
Savant.
he is literally is one of those the Bombo family were the best known warrior family in Galdaria, the faction, the family that joined. In keeping with their family tradition, the family still has the greatest stake and control over the Amultese military. So I mean, he is not just savants, of course. He's also just the High Lord, and it's the one that oversees the military. Maybe again, Heathgart was the military advisor for the sake of things like tactile action and so on and so forth. It's a tactile, but you know what I meant, like tactical action, so on and so forth. Bombo is the one that like oversees things like training and supply chains and all that kind of shit. He's the bread and butter of the military.
Right.
So anyways, that's kind of, you know, again, who he is.
Okay. So I'm not going to try and make the first meeting that he has with subordinates. I'm going to try and meet him during his second meeting of the day with subordinates. In order to give myself time, but also in order to kind of make sure that he is not too thrown off. Because a first morning when someone unexpected shows up at a meeting, that'll mess with you a whole lot more than if you do it in the middle of the day, right? When they're already ready to... Like, I'm essentially trying to give him the feeling of being... not necessarily having the upper hand in the conversation, but at least not having being on the back foot during it either, right?
Could you do me a favor, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Could you actually roll me an intelligence check, please?
10.
Unfortunately, you never roll well.
No. Correct. Just in general. Yeah.
Are
Except
you
when
happy
hitting
with your,
things.
Are you happy with your 10, or do you want to modify that?
I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't know.
That's a you call.
Yeah, that's hard because
Because
you
we
have
have
to
one
do
left in the
good.
pool.
well, you have to do good for
Yeah.
it to actually matter.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm just gonna stick with the 10.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm gonna go in with the underhand, but that's fine.
You go in with all the notes that Laszlo had, planning this out, what Laszlo had left for you. One particular note that really stands out that you thought was like a beautiful gem that he had found along the way was Laszlo did leave a note in there with the rest of them informing you that Bombo has never personally met with any of the nobles, any of the merchants, lords of Yovance. And actually, the note goes so far as to explicitly say he has gone out of his way to never meet with any of the merchants' lords of Yovance.
Okay. All right. I won't have the notes out. Like, I'm not like going to a presentation, in 3rd grade. Where I'm gonna go stand at the front of the class and just do this, and then the pyramids reveal. No. I'm gonna go in and just essentially hang off to the side whatever he's doing. I'm essentially waiting for him to, essentially clear me to talk in this particular meeting.
So again, it's one of those things where my apologies. Did you say you did want to do the West Wing walk, or you did not want to do that? because again, meetings have agendas, and so you're gonna kind of have to wait for like a spare few minutes. Whereas a walk,
I think I think I'm gonna want to wait until he's walking out. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
you know that, of course, when you go there and wait until he's walking out, because unfortunately with the original roll, you only got the 13 or whatever it was. You're not the only one out there waiting to have that conversation with him. Others are looking for it too. It's one of those, as you walk up, you can see there's another person standing there and kind of give them a nod. They give you a nod. You vaguely know who they are. It's not a big deal. And then like while you're standing there, another shows up and you give them a nod. Then another, and it ends up being like that commercial. I don't know if you ever see that commercial. It's like you go in there for an interview and like, everybody else is like a bald dude. And you're like, oh shit, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, we all look exactly the same. And you're like, oh no, everybody else is here. What play are you going to make to be the one to get his ear?
How's the meeting set up?
So he's behind large oak double doors that have a bit of a rather basic but a nice design to it. When those doors swing open and the council that he's sitting with, like one of the war councils that he's sitting with, comes out, he's usually going to come out with, you know, the his kind of like note keeper subordinate will walk out with him, and they generally would have like a brief little chat, shoring up the meeting and details for him to keep track of, and is preparing him for the next meeting that he's going into. But if you come in and interrupt, he might be like, fine, speak. And you have like about half of that walk all the way to the other side of the castle. And again, there's multiple wings for you to kind of get your point across. You know, it's only a few minutes. I should say it's several minutes, but it's several minutes uninterrupted.
Right.
I guess you would also know he's a fast walker. So it kind of helps that your character is also very well
Good for
endured.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good for Oscar.
It's to
honestly,
weed
all
out the
things
Laszlos from having to, right?
considered. Yeah. You know, I think what Oscar's going to do is he's not a delicate person. He's going to interject when they're shoring up after the meeting. And he's going to approach and just kind of
Roll me an empathy check.
Sure. It's just perception for me. Oh, terrible. 10.
Okay, so it's one of those things where a 10's actually not terrible. 10's actually fine. You can tell that the other people around you very much have a similar idea. Maybe not everybody here, but everybody else others seem to have a similar idea. As soon as the door opens, I'm going to be first.
I walk faster than them.
It's like watching cars merge in the city. You know?
I just go at the like before the meeting's going to end, essentially, because I saw his timetable. So I know when it's going to, like, how long it was scheduled for exactly, and I go, and as the meeting is about to close, because he's a punctual man, right? That's something that we know about him.
You could cheat, dude. Use your rank. You could walk into places other people can't.
Yeah, I know. But the other, well, here's a question. What other ranks are standing here presently?
So it's not necessarily a matter of rank, because you are a master venator. There will actually be another officer here that technically outranks you. It's the fact that you're a venator that makes people, again, it's like, we've talked about this beforehand, the difference between, say, a random Air Forceman that may be like an E7 or an E6 or some shit like that, versus, like, you know, somebody who's a Navy SEAL.
Right.
You know? Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
Some of us are walruses. It's fine. We don't all have to be seals.
Here's the question.
Nice.
What was this meeting that I'm at? Or that I'm waiting out of?
My apologies. This meeting would actually be pertain to my brain keeps saying supply lines, but it's actually like the allocation of supplies to the different regions that are important.
Is this something that I would be allowed to be privy to? Like, is this within my rank to know?
I would say it's not classified.
It's not classified? Then in that case, I'm going to open the door very quietly and enter and just stand
at the very tail end of the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
that's a ballsy move.
Just wait by the door, essentially just like this, fully, essentially standing at attention, waiting for Bobo, clearly looking at him.
I want a leadership role on that one.
Okay. That actually could be worse, all things considered. This is one, though, that I think I am.
Use luck. This
is one I'm going to luck, because if this goes well, it's better.
DC 13.
Oh.
I wanted to say it before it happened.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh.
That's a disappointment. You should never say these things, Scott.
Yeah.
That's okay. At any rate, like that's what he's doing, and he's just gonna be him.
I was like, I want to say it before we see it.
Yeah.
So you go walking in, and so it's one of those things. You open up the door, you go walking in, you shut the door behind you. Conversation continues on for like another 4 or 5 seconds, when finally one of the people in there kind of says, "Excuse me." So he says, "Excuse you."
Sir, please don't stop on my account.
And yet I have.
And yet you have. He
One of
just
the others,
stands
as the silence sits there for one of the other people says, "Venator, if you could please step outside. Our meeting is almost over."
Sir, if needed. Savant Bobo, when you have a moment. And then I'll step out.
Roll of communications on that one.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you actually had a focus. You can actually roll. Would this be leadership? Oh no, you know what? This would actually be etiquette. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Do you have etiquette?
So it is. No. I don't.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You say.
At any rate, I
you
just step
You say
out.
Bombo, a High Lord, Bombo,
Yeah.
when you have a moment, and he doesn't even look up from what he's looking at.
Yep.
He
That's fine.
probably heard the words.
Yep. That's fine.
And you step out and shut the door. And one of the other soldiers, a lower rank, kind of, you can see him chuckling as he's standing there. He's trying not to, but he's definitely chuckling at the fact that he just stepped right back out.
Yeah, Oscar gives him a hard look.
I will actually allow you to roll an intimidation or a leadership on that one, depending on which way you want to go.
Oh, do intimidation. That's strength.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not bad, but.
Do you do anything with that 5?
Oh, is it a success?
Yeah, he's lower rank than you.
Okay. Oh, good question. Let's take a look.
Sway the crowd. Stun silence.
Sway the crowd is for sure, but like.
Stun silence, sway the crowd, and Bombo, or however you pronounce it, Bombo. Flirt, soldier. I'll see you in my room later.
Yeah, I mean, sway the crowd is definitely like I'm basically gonna try and make other people like not only notice that I'm clearly gonna.
Can I help you? Can I just make a suggestion? You could look at him, and not that I have experience with rank or anything. You can look at him and go, "I'm sorry if you don't understand this based off your rank, but some of us put mission first."
I think what Oscar's gonna just say, like he says it with his eyes, and it's very much just a look of just, try and walk forward here. Try and get his attention before me at this point. After that, just try. Very much, and he is gonna sway the crowd, and it's very much a directed at everybody now thing.
I mean, it's one of those things where that check was not good enough to work on the person here who happens to technically be above your rank.
That's fine.
The Sun Dice to Sway the Crowd actually makes it so you get to roll interpret your efforts as a display additional persons that you affect one additional person of your choice. So you want to sway the crowd 2 times.
And I can do it. Exactly. Yep.
However, if the test is given the rise to stuff was a posed test, that's fine. So we will actually say that this works. It works.
Essentially, just not the the other high rank individual there. I'm assuming at this point. So the other 2 who'd shown up.
Like we're talking 2.5 minutes later on, the door ends up opening and others come walking out. The one person that kind of you had that stare off with before gives you similarly a hard look as he comes walking out, and you're like, I don't know that guy's face. Hopefully he doesn't remember mine. And so he comes. He does. He comes walking out and gives you the hard look. And then, not the last one out, but one of the last ones out would happen to be, again, High Lord Bombo and his subordinate that's meant to kind of like look after his notes and whatnot. So he was walking out, and you?
High Lord Bombo, if I could have a word.
Once again, I need this is either etiquette or I would say it's etiquette. Yeah. It's not persuasion, it's etiquette.
That's much better. That's 15.
Yeah. Are you happy with your 15?
I
Cool.
think That's about it. Even if I luck it, that's just gonna ruin things somehow.
Somehow luck got worse.
Yeah, somehow it went negative. I just don't want to touch it. We'll go with that.
So you say, "Hi, Lord Bombo, may I have a word?" He says, his response without looking at you is, "Should I count?"
I'd prefer if you didn't. I'm looking for advice.
He doesn't stop walking. He doesn't look back or anything, but
That's
his
fine.
his subordinate actually looks, gives you like the, come on in.
Yep. And I walk with him, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to I'm gonna keep pace with him, but I'm gonna very specifically stay one step behind.
Yep. He's one of those people that, again, if you can't keep pace, you're wasting his time, and if you're talking through a labored breath while keeping pace, he's not gonna waste his time.
And that's not a problem for Oscar.
Yeah, you actually get to immediately outstep those hurdles. Yep.
Yes.
Sorry,
and so
and Josh.
Oscar just essentially lays it out quite plainly. My name's Master Venator McLaughlin. I was sent out with the departure force to Yovance to try and get information and determine and hopefully stabilize the region. After our review, I'm not confident that stabilization is possible. I'm actually looking for advice on next steps. I know that your oath to Yovance is to serve the people and to make sure that they are as free from the impending doom of Paradel as possible. What I am hoping for is that through that oath, you can give me some advice on how to proceed. We are seeing issues with the way that the people are being treated, of course. We know that going in. That's not a surprise. Actions need to be taken in some regard there, and currently what they are doing is not a swift enough action in any respect. What they are doing is they are defending the line, but they are losing lives. It is only a matter of time. There is further course of action that could be taken in terms of freeing some of the people of Yovance and setting up a line along the Yovance and Amulta border, creating a sort of nation state that would create a further defense, but there would obviously be other things that would need to be put into place there. That would help in terms of defending the people. It would also help in terms of defending Amulta. My concern, of course, at this point is the strategic military positioning of that and how we would go about that if that were even
comes to a full stop and turns to regard you and says, "Are you suggesting a free state, a coup d'etat?"
I am suggesting one of many possibilities, yes.
That would be a break of our promise to our Yovance allies, wouldn't it?
Not your promise.
He gives you that look that says, "Tread carefully," and says, "How do you mean?" And he will turn slowly and start walking again, a couple of slow steps, then picks up his pace again and listens. And you can definitely see that again. It's one of those, he catches your eye, his companion, and gives you that wrap it up kind of.
Yeah, and I think like this is the thing. Like he's just going to essentially repeat your oaths to the people of Yovance, all of them. There are many that are not being protected by this, and a free state would open up the opportunity to have many of the people who are currently endangering themselves pushed down into a safer position and open up this as a greater defensive point that we could fund more directly and help protect them. It's an opportunity to create not only a protection that would be freedom for those people, but also an opportunity for us to take swift military action on that front if necessary, because we would have direct access. But strategically, I'm not sure how we would go about that, and I'm hoping that you and I might have an opportunity to speak about that at a greater length at some point, if that were a path that were to be tackled. I'm not suggesting necessarily that it is, but if we go that way at any point, your leadership in that would be
Master
paramount.
Venator, I'm about to have a meeting where I have to decide whether or not we're going to be decreasing the age of when people are put into the mandatory service. So I have other things I need to prepare for. It seems like this is an avenue that you have put probably too much thought into and is a waste of your time. But if you're going to continue to waste your time, you can do so by preparing a report and putting it on my desk. I'll get to it if I find it. And then he turns and walks off without a goodbye.
Thank you, sir. And
Yep. Again, his subordinate hangs back the extra step, like he lets him walk ahead to allow him to not be between the two of you.
For sure.
He turns to you and says, "Find my desk," and then turns and walks off. No apology.
Oscar will actually just say to him, "And what's your name?"
To the subordinate.
Yeah.
William.
Oh, again? Come on.
That's fine. It's a common name. It's fine.
Actually, her name is Mallory, because Mallory's a secretary name.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Sure.
I mean, that's a good job. So
yeah.
it's fine.
At any rate, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll find your desk.
That's like a lieutenant commander, right? Like that's actually a pretty good rank.
Yeah, that's a really good
very
job.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's like you work for that job. That's an important job.
Yep.
Great. Cool. That went way better than expected. I'll be honest with you.
Wait, you think that went well? Okay.
That went surprisingly well, given that it was Oscar having that conversation.
I don't think we have a chance with this guy, so.
He listened to me that whole time rather than just cutting me off. That's big.
I mean, I think there's something to be said about the whole he's never met one thing, about how that's not a person of Yovance, that's someone different. That's not a Yovancian. They're a different breed. But I mean,
what am I going to do with that? As much as that's great information, what is Oscar going to do with that?
Yeah, it's hard.
Friends.
Tell his friends, who will then do something with it. That is not something Oscar will do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is just me gathering that information. Like, Oscar will, by the way, go and find Laszlo after this. And
I'm sleeping. Don't wake me up.
Wake him up.
Yeah.
Wake him up.
No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna find Chris Ellen then. Fair enough.
I stayed up all night to get you that report, man.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. No, Oscar's gonna go find Chris Ellen then.
Shocking blast.
Okay. So you go find Chris Ellen. Chris Ellen is also tired. When you go wake up Chris Ellen, she's she comes to the door in her evening gown, or like nightgown or whatever it is, because she was also up very late and didn't get back here until very early, and so she was also sleeping in. But Chris Ellen's a kind person and answers the door when her friends come knocking. So.
I just spoke with Bob.
Doxy. What do you call cheese that doesn't belong to you?
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. That's right. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's an old joke.
I know.
We should probably talk about it.
No. Nice.
Chris Ellen.
So you find Chris Ellen, her hair is kind of a mess, and she's doing the equivalent of eating like day after bachelor cold leftover pizza breakfast.
Oh, that's the best pizza. Fridge pizza.
Very nice.
Depends on the pizza, but yes.
Yeah. So Oscar's gonna ask, "May I come in?"
You may.
Thank you. I just spoke with High Lord Bob Mo for actually, honestly, staggering amount of time given his impatience. It went better than I expected.
I like better. Better is good.
First of all, he believes our actions are a waste of time, which that's, of course, to be expected. He immediately said that the notion of a free state would be going against our oath to Yovance. I indicated to him that it would not be against his oath to Yovance. He did not immediately stop me on that, which is promising. That being said, of course, that is the first seed, right? That's what the book called it, a seed. That you plant a notion first and then let someone who's smarter than you deal with it afterwards.
Very good.
Yeah. Anyways, here's the book back, by the way. I've read it back and forth at this point. By the way, what was that whole section
I'm
about?
so proud of you.
What's that whole section about massage? Why is that something that is used for diplomacy?
Gotta loosen them up so you can seep stuff inside.
Interesting. Not the kind of diplomacy I was expecting to have with Bob Mo. So, at any rate, he asked me to put together a report and get it to his clerk, which essentially means he's suggesting he would never look at it. But with the right information posed to the right people, including the clerk Mallory, I don't know what what was the rank for her, Scott? What is her rank technically?
so
Because
remember,
I was
there's not
about to
many-
call her a lieutenant general, which is not correct.
There's not many ranks, right? So she would probably be considered a what are they called?
Subvant.
A sub. God damn it.
Symphont? No.
No.
So what is it? Savant and what's the one? Magister.
Magister.
She's probably a magister, but again, a different branch, almost like how there's like a paperwork branch,
Right.
like a warrant officer sort of a thing.
Yeah. So
That's a rank, not a branch. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I
that's
know,
okay. Don't
but-
worry about it.
But still, it's
Depends on which
five
military you're
ranks
talking
above.
about too,
Yeah.
to be fair. But
My buddy is a warrant officer down in Colorado.
Colorado,
I almost said Colorado.
the road to Colorado.
He is actually Henry is the one that I thought with the girdle, not girdle. What are they called? The wedding thing, the leg thing on the wedding.
Garter.
Garter Henry.
Wait, you did that?
No, never mind. I didn't know. I thought you were part of that chat. I thought you knew what I was talking. It doesn't matter.
No, I mean I came in when you and Wade were talking about it, and Wade was like, "That's weird."
Yeah. So Henry that I was referencing in that's. Anyways, continue.
So, if we can get it onto Magister Mallory's desk, then I think there might be a chance that it gets to him. It would have to be something that, well, as you know, the person who controls the papers controls what he sees. But,
Well, then we best get drafting.
yes. If you don't mind, I'll write the base for this one. It's military focused.
I met
I'm at your
him.
Disposal.
Sorry.
So yeah, Oscar will kind of write up a draft report, and it is actually like this is probably the first time you've seen him actually write something somewhat competent, because this is like 100% like military, like just detailed report of what took place, and also like essentially it's a argumentative paper, right? Like it's just detailing out what his rationale is for proposing the free state notion in the first place. Also, you'll notice he proposes other options in there as well, but will also essentially discount some of them due to the complexity of them or due to the strategic failings of them, and will essentially just provide this kind of it's detailed information, though not elegantly written. It's competent but not elegant, basically. Detailing account of what we've seen and what we've done and what the recommendations are that he spoke about already to Bob Mo, but just is essentially providing information there, but then is also doing a strict ask at the very end for if this path were to be pursued strategically, what would need to be in place militarily speaking.
I mean, there's a just as because you spoke to Chrisellen about this, so I imagine you're using Chrisellen's aid to do this.
Yes.
Chrisellen has a different perspective on this than she did prior. Her conversation, her quick one with Isaac, showed that there are many holes that maybe Oscar, maybe not, Oscar would have thought about beforehand. And so it's one of those things where as you're even initially drafting this letter, you realize that there's more questions than there are answers in this. There's a concept, but no real foundation to how it is these things can be resolved. And you guys would have to really fill in those gaps. And you have to choose, do I want to send this letter to him now with all these open slots, or do I want to? And I honestly think that if you're not going to do so, maybe a good idea would be for us to actually have a handout or something like that in the game with a physical list of the things that you want answered before you send it through.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea, because realistically, like if we're coming through to the conversation of, okay, no, there are things that we haven't addressed yet, then that would be a conversation of we need to address those things, period. Because we're not going to win someone on side with a half-hearted idea at this point.
Yeah, so because we talked about getting Galdaria to help them, getting maybe Tazy and Dale involved, but that's a big if. The dwarves, the mushroom people, and then maybe the Sill. Those are like things that we talked about aiding them with. We never talked about funding, like we never even thought about that, how to fund them. So we'd have to think of a way to do that. So yeah, I don't know how we would do that. Is it common knowledge that the mushroom people are like pretty good farmers, or no?
No. That was my sin that's tender. Wait, Josh, you met Henry?
Yeah, I helped you reset up OPS after your fucking hard drive erasing.
On like a video chat?
Yeah. I was up and you were like using me for your overlays while I was just in a Zoom call with you.
I actually don't recall.
You guys were drinking beers and
we were definitely
talking.
drinking. We were drinking. Yeah. Yep. Henry also helped me paint this whole room. Actually, at one point in time when he was painting the ceiling, he accidentally dripped a huge glob into his mouth. And I was like, dude, go spit it out. What are you doing?
Did you take a picture?
No, I never came around here. Huge glob of ceiling paint right in his mouth. It was so funny. So
nuts.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
not
it's
nuts.
disgusting.
Paint. That was a different time, Doxy. But hey, Doxy, I have an important question to ask you while we're on a tangent. If you're dating someone, let's say.
Oh, okay. I'm muting myself.
Let's say you.
Oh
and,
God, is it this conversation again? I'm
say-
gonna run to the washroom. You guys have
never
fun.
gonna ask this. Let's say you and Will are dating, long-term relationship, whatever, not a big deal. And the two of you go out to eat at a restaurant, a booth. Where do you guys sit?
Wherever we feel like it.
I mean,
I know that I like to have my back towards the wall and my front towards the door. And wherever my partner wants to sit, whether it be across from me or next to me, I don't care either way. I'm not holding hands with you across the table though, because that's rude to the server.
so you don't have a preference either way?
No.
That this conversation got boring.
Yeah, it's because he thinks that it's weird to sit next to the person
I think
that you're with.
Same
I
siders
think
are.
it's nice for the server.
Now you have to reach across somebody to put a plate down when there's only two people there.
I mean,
just
that
think it's
depends
weird.
on the layout. That depends on the layout. You can't
Just-
use that argument.
You definitely don't have to. You set them down next to you, like side by side in front of you, and then you're like cheese, pepper, blah blah blah, whatever, and then you slide over. Like it's nothing. It's nothing.
I always give the reach around, but no. So the it was a big conversation. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it was a huge
It was a big
conversation
thing.
because Scott thinks if you're a couple, you should sit opposite to each other,
Across.
and the other couple should sit opposite. So you're sitting next to the other couple's partner.
Well, that's in a
There-
double date. That was the next question. Yeah, but that.
Yeah.
But
I
this
mean, I don't see
conversation.
why not.
It's weird.
Again, there's two
Good
camps.
enough friends.
There's two camps. You're on a double date. Does your date sit across from you, or does your date sit adjacent to you? That's really what it comes down to.
Okay. I don't care.
Yeah. It's a non-conversation. It was just like, oh, let's ask Doxy. She's like, why are we wasting time?
Yeah, it's not.
As
it's not
long as
important.
my back is towards the wall and my front is towards the door, you guys can sit on the fucking floor for all.
Okay, you can look towards the kitchen door.
No. You know what I mean.
The emergency exit door?
The entrance door.
To the bathroom?
The vestibule.
What if there's multiple entrances?
I have strong opinions on this. Oh, it doesn't matter. It depends on how close you are to friends, in my opinion. Sitting next to someone.
Sit across and never meet eyes. Meeting eyes is akin to sex in public. Oh, hey, Josh, you ready? Ready?
It was too much. I couldn't last that long.
Yeah, we've heard that before. So you decide not to write the letter. You decide to keep it to yourself.
We draft it, but it's very much like, and there's a hole here, and there's a hole here. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's where that goes. Cool. Where I honestly don't know where you guys are going next from here. I know a couple days later you're gonna have a conversation with Lady Arceum.
Yeah. Well, eventually I'll meet up at Chris Ellen's place, and we can hash out what's going on. I'll just reiterate what I found, which Oscar already knows, to Chris Ellen about Bumbo and who was on the council. And I'll look to Chris Ellen and I'll say, so Lady Isaac's mother was on the council at the time. Do you think that's someone that you would be able to speak with, or is that inappropriate?
Hey. And she like pulls at her collar.
Aye! Oh!
I believe we have become what do the common people say? An official couple? And it's a little too soon for me to talk about her parents. But
Okay.
we could go visit her sister.
Yes, that is an option. It'll be a few more days before Lady Arceum, I believe, will be done examining the chest. When we'll get more information on that.
And then one of you could try to win over the sister and make segue to meeting the parents.
I'd like to meet the sister. I look around and I'll say, Senpai, are you around? I'll just wait a few seconds and I'll go, my former master divulged some information about magics that they use that aren't very commonly known. I'd be very interested in learning some of those.
I don't see why
Speaking
not.
of which, any word? You sent him the letter, right? Any word back from him? Well, I would know. Never mind. He would be here.
The answer may surprise you. The answer is no. No. The answer is no.
No.
I haven't heard
Oh,
back.
well, he did say, well, he'll make us wait 3 days, and I think it's been about 3 days.
It's been about 3 days.
So I didn't know. To teach you how to let go. Don't hold it back anymore. Something like that.
I don't know, man. It's all new to me anyways.
Yes, he's eccentric. I know. So what are we going to do about food? That's a very prominent point that was brought up.
I could eat.
I'm talking about the holes in the report.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm hungry.
I'm Josh.
I can't wait. I can't wait to run. This is a tangent. I'm sorry. I can't wait to run a dungeon where there's just a brick in the wall. When you touch it, it says, "I'm hungry," and the answer to the riddle is just, "Hi, hungry. I'm Dad." And I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully, none of the players that I'm going to run that for are watching this, but here we are. It's fine. In terms of food,
I don't approve.
too bad. In terms of food, in terms of setting that up, how fertile are those lands, Scott? In between, like that where we would be looking at setting up the Free State?
We saw it. We traveled that land.
Yeah, we traveled it. That's why I'm asking.
Well, let me ask. How fertile does bloodshed make land?
Relatively, actually.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good for it.
It is actually pretty good for it, yeah. So,
There's actually like woods that grow. Like if you're looking, can you guys see the map right now or no?
Yes.
I'm not looking.
Map? No.
You guys are on the
Yeah.
same map as me in the bottom right hand corner. Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
actually woods that grow on the southern part of it and then mostly on the northern part of it, so on and so forth. There's actually a river that flows through there, so pretty fucking fertile. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
okay.
good.
Well, farming would be an option.
Maybe.
Actually, while you guys finish up this conversation, I'm gonna take a quick pee. Okay.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know. Maybe provide some kind of stimulus to the farming community. You know, that goes. You know, the bleed down effect, right? We pay the big farms a lot of money, and then they should help supply the smaller
Trickle-down
farms.
economics does not work. You must first seize the means of production.
The real Oscar comes out. we shall seize.
We shall seize the means of production, comrades. And
I mean, we kind of are talking about that.
genuinely, we are talking about doing a communist revolution. You're not wrong.
Free the people. A people-ran country.
Yeah. It'll be run by the people for the people.
I don't know anything about farming, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, my parents are farmers. Interestingly enough, that's something that's actually come up a few times. That's how I know how to fix a door. Had to do chores.
That's true. That has come up. That's
this
true.
is the thing. My parents are actually farmers. I hope Scott is watching while he pees, so that we can talk about this in more detail. Because I like Oscar would know a bit about farming.
Is it like a secretary of horticulture or forestry or something?
I think there's probably, yeah. Right? I mean, realistically, right? I mean, you can set up multiple different small farms. I mean, the way that Amulta does it is in a very particular way, and until Scott corrects this is just what I'm gonna say it is, and people can deal with that. You know, they set them up very much in the way that it's built on irrigation channels. You know, we don't necessarily have rivers that run all around, but we do have enough rivers that run through that you can build fertile lines through. There is a river that runs through Yovance. You could run irrigation channels in. That would be relatively easy enough to do along the rivers, but the problem with that is that farmland would then be the first point of contact for any invading forces if they weren't from Paradel but were from Yovance. From a military strategic standpoint, that would be opening up their food production to be sabotaged by Yovance. So rather than running irrigation channels, it may actually be better to go about it in a different way.
Buckets.
Well, you need water regardless, but well water is the thing. Building it out of the ground and then running it from there.
I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. You just need 2 buckets of water. You put them
right,
like
and
opposite and
side by side, and then you have endless water.
Yeah, you have endless
right.
water. Yes.
Right, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Damn.
Anyways, but well water would be, in all likelihood, the more appropriate path. The land should be fertile enough, and realistically, I would imagine well water probably runs through that area. There's probably below surface water in that area just due to the fertility and due to the rivers already. So that would allow them to build their farmland closer to the Amultese border or closer to the center mass of whatever the free land would be, so that they're not as open to attack from Yovance or from Paradel or from Amulta if they ever were worried about that.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott.
You guys can draw lines on this map, by the way, and I'm going to pull it up on stream for everybody else to see. So feel free to do that so we can actually see where it is that you're trying to do.
Well, where did we say the we were looking at for the section anyways? Is it on this map or was it on the slightly larger one that we were looking at?
This one right here, which is a bit more blown up, is probably the better option of the two. So
what we were saying is something like drawing like that. I picked the worst color. Okay.
Can you see the color it is, Josh?
I cannot. That's why it's the worst
that's
color.
The like little, grayish purple there. So
All right, we were saying
like,
something like
there is what
this.
You just drew.
Something like using the natural the natural lines,
right,
to try to have least amount of border, like direct border, possible. So because like this side is covered by lake,
now
this
I want
side,
to look at the other map that you were referencing. Give me 2 seconds to see how far that river goes down, because that might be an important factor. Oh, I
mean, it doesn't have to be this big either. The major thing
you guys
is
actually
to have.
did draw. You actually did draw
I was
one of the
gonna
other
say, I thought we had drawn on the other map for it, so.
Not much, but there was some drawing.
And I was gonna say, I thought it was lower where we ended up looking at it.
No, it was actually pretty much the same exact spot. You guys are looking at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see
pretty much the same
I mean,
exact thing.
We were talking about that area would be the easiest because then it would only be 2 fronts of just straight landfall.
Come on.
But this might be too big.
Fucking roll
what
20.
we have on here.
What are you doing, roll 20?
To be honest with you, you don't necessarily want it to be small territory though, because you want open space for defensibility.
So what I would say is we need to
like farmland realistically would be solid in this area here, because you'd still have the well water, you'd still have the fertility in the land, but you could build out this area. It would be far enough away from the essential bordering points from both Yovance and Paradel.
I still think you guys are doing a better map. you might be better off in the other map.
Yeah.
Can you stop playing games with us?
It doesn't really
I don't mean
matter.
to,
It's
just for the
more
sake of
just-
the details that you're going into right here.
Yeah.
I think you'd be better off in the other map, unless
Sure.
because of how far north you want to stay. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you
Let's-
back over there.
That's fine. I'm just gonna draw that same thing again.
So, talking in like kingmaker terms, king building terms, right? Kingdom building, right? It would be those hexes right around there would be turned into farmland.
yeah, those three essential, like, yeah.
And what I was saying is that the border towns, I remember when we were there, we talked about like there's a lot of farmers and stuff like that live there. What we could say is we could ask the farmers to maybe like their sons or something to go in there and start up the farms as soon as the land is claimed, so that they get a jump start on doing their own food production. And then in time, because at first we're gonna have to supply food, right, or get food from somewhere, because farms don't just boom, it makes food. But like if we could get people in there to start working the land immediately, and it would minimize the amount of time that we have to provide supplies for them.
Roll me whatever the military check is for strategy. Remind me the skills. Sorry.
Military lore, and it's just intelligence for me, but it would be, I don't know.
It's
if you
good
have
for
it.
me.
Yeah, you.
No,
go
it's
ahead.
not. I don't have a.
Can
I
use
don't have a
can
full-
use ghosts on it, or even Crystalline. I won't lie, like Crystalline,
Yeah.
a flat intelligence roll is really fucking smart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll as
so-
well, just in case, but I don't expect it
I
to
think
go
I
well.
have an
Oh, never
ability.
mind. It went really well.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
And Doxy, do you want to roll
me
too?
not?
I mean,
No, please do. Please do. Because you might out.
no.
Wow. Okay. Well.
Uh,
I'm actually happy that you got it. You're the military dude.
military
Yeah,
lore.
it
I need
makes
to.
way more sense for you too.
Yeah.
So, Oscar, the
Mhm.
plans that you have here. First and foremost, go back to Josh's statement. Then I'll always have you roll for in a second. Kingmaker terms, each hex equals about 12 miles. In this scenario, each hex equals about 10 miles. So it actually works. The format you're discussing for how to do this, Josh, actually works very, very, very well. Just to be clear. Okay, so cool. Back to you, what you just rolled for.
Yep.
Basso, right there. That's a Are you gonna claim that? Is that gonna be a free city? There's a barracks that exists there. You know what I mean? Like, is that
Right.
gonna be like that? That is a strategic point if there ever was one
Right.
against Yovance.
I think this is something we need to account for. You either need to claim Basso, or you need to back off the border of Basso. But if we back off the border, we lose a strategic point for these people.
And if we claim it, we don't have the natural geography to help defend the border.
Correct.
What I would say is to do.
But you do
How
have a
was-
city,
how-
though.
how-
and
how
cities
was
themselves are
Yeah, they're defensible in and of themselves.
Yeah,
is this
but-
a walled city? Like, that's what I was gonna get at. Is this
no.
a walled city, or is this a, like, it has a garrison in it, which is a walled garrison?
This was the town we ran out of, right?
One
No,
of them. This is
um,
one where we dropped the boat off and then sailed down the river in a river.
Oh, it was Strandano that we ran
Yes.
out of?
yes.
correct.
Okay.
Basso is the city where, other things transpired.
You dropped something.
No.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
that lake is
Yeah.
gonna be screwed
No. But
up.
Josh, Basso is a city where other
I know.
things. Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to
Yeah.
lead information.
Okay.
I'm just not even gonna touch
Pretty
it.
sure
I'm
you
just
know.
ignoring. But realistically, like, the natural defenses.
We
of
have to
that
take it.
land-
We have to take it, in my opinion.
I agree. We would have to take it, which means we would absolutely need the military support to do so.
But here's the good thing: it has a barracks. It is a fortified town. Like it's made to hold some type of militia, which means it probably has food, and it probably has armor
Yes,
and
it
goods. If we were able to get in there and seize the fortress right before an army attacks, they won't have access to it for their own soldiers, but then we'll have access to it afterwards to provide to the people. By eliminating that resource for their battle, if we're able to get in there and grab it and lock it down before
if
the
they're
battle.
not so petty to burn it down. Yes.
Yes, if they're not petty to burn it down. I mean, what fools would burn down a barracks? I mean,
Oscar just looks at you kind of firmly and then just looks back at the map of Yovance and looks back at you.
But yeah, I think we have to take it, and it might actually be to the benefit if it does have a barracks and it does have a means of having a force. It would draw attention to the other armies or other battles. This would be a prominent front instead of the battles being spread across such a large border.
That's not a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah, that's actually really we
people-
could focus. We could focus the militia or whatever.
A large military spread out is not a large military at all.
Walls take forever, man. Lightning.
But my point is, at this stage, Beso is a strategic point. If we are going to be taking this area, we need to take it.
We need reports from
We
that
do.
town.
And I believe we also need to run our supplies, just to be clear, through a controlled point, and Seoul would be that controlled point, which means that we are not only north of Beso there, but in terms of direct supply line through, we would need this entire area to be secured.
Oscar,
Meaning through there.
I'm worried about Beso because of what happened in the lake.
What do you mean, what happened in the lake?
The thing was destroyed in the lake. The illnesses, the sickness pill.
Right.
We need reports to see if that town's even salvageable at this point. It might be already dying.
It's already dying. We might be able to revitalize it with a reinstitution of farming outside of that, depending on how that river is. If that river is
Runs
infected
into it
as
or
well,
runs out of it. There's a
Precise-
big difference.
That's a good question. When we were going down that river, was it running out of or into the lake?
I had to do this before.
It was out, I believe.
Yeah, I was just confirming it was out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
It was
there's
out.
a specific drawbridge
Yep.
that we had to go by. That
That's
somebody
right.
had to go by.
That river was running out of Beso.
That river's poisoned.
That river is poisoned. We can't. That
That
changes
town
everything.
is not. That town is not. We have to use well water. But like you were saying, we have to use well
I mean,
water.
we're going to have to use well water anyways for the farms, but even that well water could be contaminated depending on how deep the roots of that river run.
For
It
the
can
record,
expand into the land.
For the record, the plan that you guys are trying to come up with was completely kiboshed. Why? Or what
It's
are the
not
huge-
kibosh.
No.
It's not kibosh.
This huge hurdle you're coming across. Why? Whose fault is that?
Joey's.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So sorry. The freedom of
Blame
the
Joey.
slaves of Yovance is whose fault?
Joey, we blame Joey.
Okay. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
no.
Just wanna make sure.
Look,
No.
Joey,
take
I love you,
responsibility.
but also I blame you.
I blame the conscious of actual human beings to not want to, empower any type of enslavery. Just saying. Just saying.
I agree with you, Will. Though it's part Joey's fault, part Josh's fault. I agree with you.
It's so much Joey's fault. Are you kidding? That lake is ruined for generations. That lake is ruined.
Laszlo, do you know of any way to cleanse water? Do you know
No.
people who can?
Have I heard about druids? I don't think because that's a totally different school of magics and all that stuff. I'm sure I've heard of them, but how would I know of any type of druid population is known? Oh, yeah, Eldamar
You
is
know
known
that
to have
the
a
magic-
large druid.
The magic
you know.
he's asking about is a yes. Large
Yeah.
scale is a no.
Yeah.
To
No,
answer his
I
direct
don't
question.
think that. But we don't need to fix the lake. It's actually almost a good thing because it causes an extra barrier. People aren't going to want to use it.
It de-incentivizes them for even worrying about the area, but that's not my point. My point is, if we need to cleanse water that's coming out of a well, is that something that we can do on a small enough scale that would still be appropriate
Yes,
for the
I believe that
farms?
magic exists. I'm not
Right.
capable of it.
But my point is,
Uh,
we may be able to acquire friends who are.
The people of Eldamar
Elder.
are very keen with nature. They're very in touch with nature. You met the halfling. Their people, her people.
Right.
They're very in touch with nature. Actually, I believe if we go back to Little Ascaria and we speak to her, she did do the ritual that Eldamar is known for with her eyes. If you notice, her eyes were different.
Hmm.
She did the ritual, which means she might have some ties with her people. even if it's faint. And we might be able to get some information from her.
Just a note as well, you might want to remember to call them halfway, not halflings. They don't like that. It's a derogatory term.
I mean, they're all lings to me. They're not that small.
I'm just.
I smirk. He smirks.
It's more just if we're going to be trying. Remember what the book said. You don't want to insult.
Well, I thought you were supposed to insult.
I don't look. The book was very clear to me. It said, "Do not insult them. Don't insult their honor, or you might end up dueling them." That was a very clear point. And honestly, that was something I was.
I love to say, okay, Lightning Dragon brings up a really good point that my character would probably have thought of. Is my guy was specialized in fire before he left the Arcane Congress. He would hesitantly say, I could maybe do some studying and pick up some of the Maltese versions of fire. I prefer not to use it anymore, but fire is a good cleanser if we can collect the condensation and make it drinkable. And if we can show a few even minorly talented people with magic that would give them a steady supply of water.
That is an option, honestly. I think magic is going to be an important part of it, and honestly, securing another location that knows and uses a Maltese magic. Hey, question for you. What would Lady Arceum think about that?
Of what?
Another location that would use a Maltese magic. I mean, she's the,
I think any spread of knowledge, any spread of magic is something that Lady Arceum would enjoy. That's my take on her.
Okay.
Her purpose in life, it seems to me, is to expand knowledge as far as it can go.
Then that might be something we can appeal to her with.
Freezing water too also helps.
Oh, freezing water, I believe, can trap certain.
Yes, but I'm saying if we were a Maltese, the Maltese are known for ice magics. If we froze water from the lake, then we can bring it to areas that need water and not necessarily rely so much on the wells if the wells aren't functional or may take time to become functional.
That's a fair point. It's a long way from Brintel, from the river there, but you might be able to from the Twin Lakes. But again, that's running along the border through Aces, through Seoul, down, and we need that entire area secured. That's a long stretch to secure. And that's kind of my point with the supply lines here. This isn't something we can do quickly.
Digging a canal is actually an option.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the people that are used to the labor. But it's in that situation, it wouldn't be slave labor. They would be digging a canal for their own farms.
Good.
It's true.
And if we allow them access to the Twin Lakes, they have the cleanest water in that whole freaking region.
I mean, Meta, it was magically supplied by a god.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the water.
Well, not a good god though. That's just probably tainted.
Yo, you judge Jesus, okay? Jesus is a good man.
Well, so what you're suggesting essentially is we could run a channel down this way from the Twin Lakes.
I would recommend that we run it actually right along the Maltese, and it creates another natural thing for us in case this does fail.
So what you're suggesting instead is something more along the lines of running along the border here and down towards this farmland here.
Yes, because then it creates a natural barrier for us in case they do fail.
That's true.
I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, us securing the border is the primary focus.
The primary focus, of course.
And this would be, they're getting what they need, and we're getting what we need.
So, question. This stretch of land right here, how is this being defended?
That's the question.
Are you going to build a wall and make Paradel pay for it?
Paradel wouldn't pay for it, man.
Are you sure?
Maybe if I bash wits with them, they might.
Yeah, maybe. Call him out on Twitter. Call him Rocket Man or something.
this northern portion right here, this is the part from Seoul across here up to the Twin Lakes. That's the part I'm worried about defending.
That's the part that's been the concern of defending this entire while.
Yeah.
So, but what's to say like this area right here?
That area is easier for us to deal with because if they're having to come through, they're having to come through. If we don't secure all the way out there, like, let me just draw another line here. Basically, if it runs from Seoul down to Beso here, and that area, this chunk here is cut out. Like,
you can highlight lines that you've already drawn and change their color, just to make life easier. Because
I'm gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do border lines here, and one moment. Let me just.
I would say that for that top piece, we talked them into moving Seoul, the soldiers and stuff from Seoul for a temporary basis, to move them over to be right up against the Perrin border, right? And have them until we're able to supply, until we're able to get the slaves in fighting condition, the former slaves, into fighting condition, or get allies to show up like Goldaria. We have them there. They're still doing the same job that they were previously. They're just doing it right up against the Perrin border, right? And then the bottom part, we put the less experience, because odds are they're going to be fighting the Yovance soldiers, and they're less experienced as well.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So we'll be, I mean, if our most experienced soldiers should be at the top part against the Perrin, and then the least experienced should be towards the bottom, because we don't like if the Perrin come walking through. Okay, Yovance isn't going to drop for Perrin though. They're not, because they know what's going to happen. A lot of them are going to lose their titles. Only a few are going to get to keep them, and these people live off of their titles and their wealth. That's it. That's all they have.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not gonna just let the Perrin come into their lands. So they're still gonna be fighting the Perrin to prevent them from getting to the bottom part. We only have to stop Perrin from that direct spot that they have from the Twin Lakes down to about, that's 1 hex worth. And then the rest of them we could put least experienced soldiers.
I agree with you, but keep in mind we have to secure Beso.
Yes.
So my point
we need
is
to wait on
order,
reports before we decide
an order
on
of
that.
operations here. We have to act in a specific way.
Yes, we have to find out what the status of Beso is. If it's dying, that's good for us. We can have Landor and his men try to take it right away.
And what's the best way to get information about Beso?
Pray. I can ask Ghost. Give me a second.
What's the
The Preclum?
The Precalum? Or,
Yeah, the Preclum, or go yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And realistically,
we should do both. We should actually do both.
We should do
both. Flirt. But that's what I'm saying. If we can get Landor to take that city, and we'll just say that's, like, take the city, and you guys have a place to stay, and you guys aren't huddled up in the woods, and blah 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 blah. That could be the start.
But if that is the start, that opens up a massive line for them to defend right away.
But they have to cross a river to fight it. That's already
a river that flows in the favor of the Free State.
Yeah.
They have the most advantage at that spot. They don't have the advantage is where the Perrin border is.
I don't disagree with you. They should definitely not be there. But my point is more, how do we make sure that keep in mind, this is a large area of land that we're talking about here.
12 miles.
A little bit more than I think, right?
Well, for Beso.
Yeah, for Beso.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just across. That's not circumference. So,
but
it's even bigger.
Realistically, this is a large area of land that they need to secure. That's fine. I trust that they'll be able to do that. Maybe.
Well, no, we know they can. If you looked at the other map, they had a huge chunk of land that they were already securing, and it was bigger than that.
With your 16 intelligence, one of the things I could always point out too is there are locations that you use as strategic focal points that you intend to be hard fights to lose the strategic point, and because they focus so much of their effort on getting this location, and then when their attention is turned elsewhere, you take it back. Massachusetts Revolutionary War, we did this shit like Bunker Hill, and what was the other hill that we had? Where like we would like take a spot and we'd give it up, and take a spot and give it up. And we literally just do that just to waste their supplies and waste their soldiers. We'd just be like, well, you have to travel a long fucking way to bring your shit, so we're just gonna keep battling back and forth over this one spot because it sucks for you. You know, we did that a long time ago. So I understand that Yovance is huge and literally right there, but it still could work to that regard because you can always fall back behind the river.
And we don't actually want Beso.
No.
Like, we want the other side of the river. We just don't want them to have Beso.
Yeah.
But my point is more that yes, I trust that they would be able to take it. But keep in mind, we need to be able to take that with advantage. Knowing that they are going to take that spot opens up other areas. We need to be able to act in those respects. We can't wait until they have that to then start spreading to other areas. Because otherwise, they have an opportunity to get flanked. They have an opportunity to get locked into a city that they can't necessarily hold. They won't be able to retreat behind the river. If we don't have that area to retreat to, they will lose. It will take time, but they will lose.
So here's what we need to know. Taken. One, we need to know that if we have the back of any of the Maltese farmers or people that are willing to go out there and claim land for themselves, claim actual land for themselves to start farming as soon as these things start going on. It's going to be a very dangerous thing, but there are people that like that kind of lifestyle, right? We have to know if Goldaria is going to back us up, or Taziendale, or someone, so that we can try to help hold that Maltese border and bolster the former slaves. And we got to get permission from the Queen.
I mean, to be fair,
and
if you had
council.
Galdarian archers, holding your lines would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, Galdarian archers are literally constant renown. You know, like they would help hold the line.
Yeah. And then we have to get permission from the military, which obviously that's you. You have more of the most luck with, to be able to move the entire army that's sitting on that line, that Yovance Perrin area, and move them to that border and keep them doing their job. That is right now. Like, those are the main things that we have to do. And the first thing is finding out if Balso is even alive anymore with the poisoned river, poisoned lake. Getting information from the CIA, whatever we want to, the Precarum, is important. Finding out about farmers. There has to be like guilds, I assume, Scott, in Amulta.
What kind of guilds? My apologies.
Like farming guilds.
I mean, not exactly. I mean, if you're talking about like farming guild, I mean, it's mostly just kind of like looked after by the government itself, right? Like the people own their own lands, but they pay taxes or whatever to the government for it, and the government usually provides degrees of aid here, or kind of makes requests there of what it is that they need to make sure that production is in the direction that they want.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you mean by guilds in that sense.
Guilds in the sense that they have someone that's working, like a lobbyist working on the council, that helps them be protected from governmental influence.
I hear what you're saying. Then yeah, like lobbyists. Sure. Yeah. Then something like
because
that
if we can do a party
not
and get them on
council,
board,
like a looser council. Yes.
Yeah. If we can get those people on board, they could start pushing the idea down the chain.
Actually, I'm so sorry. I had to leave my phone upstairs because it was at 7%. But what the hell's his name? Brintel is the imports-exports member of the council. So Brintel is actually the person, and I believe Brintel is very pro-Yovance, I think.
Yeah, he was the next person we're going to talk to, actually.
Yeah.
And we can always use the argument that this is what Maltese people do. This is the spirit of Malta. We took land that wasn't that, and we made it into something. We left a country to make it more. We want to give the Yovance people that same thing, to become another Amulta. I don't know. That's where we're at. Though we need reports from Bolsa, from there's so much, so much.
In terms of our next actions, is it even worth talking to Brintel yet until we've had an opportunity to get more information?
Yes, because if we could talk to him and we can get him on our side,
right,
he could start finding the people that would be willing to be frontier farmers.
Right. But until we know what's happening in Beso, we don't know if there's a strategic push for this yet.
Even if Beso isn't there or not, we're still going to need the farmers. Beso doesn't matter for that front, right?
I agree, but for Brintel it might. In terms
okay.
Of,
so you want it for an argument power.
For an argument power, not for action.
I mean, that's going to fall on Chrysalin.
I agree.
To convince him.
So it sounds like what you guys are going to want to do is go, because of the order of operations, as somebody had said beforehand. Mm-hmm. Sounds like you want to speak to the Praeculum to try to get as much information as possible to then use that against or with or whatever Brintel, and then use that to hopefully gain more favor, answer a couple of those questions so you can eventually convince Bombo of what's going on. That sounds like the order of operations that you guys want. So, because Praeculum is going to be back down in Hekatia, where you're going to speak to Krilla.
Maybe the mom.
Definitely Krilla. Maybe the mom. That's a much further shot, just being plain on that one, as you can imagine. So, Hekatia for Krilla, and then back to Heplon or wherever you need to be for Brintel. Any other persons that needed to be spoken with? I know RCM for the chest. Yes, I know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be days. We also, we're missing out on a huge opportunity, possibly. The dwarves have great earth magic.
Yeah.
Very powerful earth magic. Making channels for them is probably a flick of a wrist.
They would very likely be the best people for that job if we were able to.
And we're going to need to set this up fast, right? We're not going to be able to sit around and spend 2-3 years building these channels.
No, magic is the way to do it if we're going to
do it. So this would be the aid that we're asking of them for aid. Because this is a monumental, you're talking, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I get
7 hexes. That's a huge amount of land.
Build a wall and make the lizard people pay for it. I get it.
Lizard people. Mushroom people. Screw those people. Build on the backs of mushrooms.
Because dwarves aren't real,
If we go that route, that's more information that we need, and we need to go underground to get it.
I want to go underground, Meta. I really want to.
I know, I really do.
I want to find the lore. I want to know the lore, to be honest. This politics is fun and stuff every time, but I want to do some classic dungeon crawling shit now for a little bit,
Yeah.
But whatever.
Again,
I want to go.
It's going to boil down to 2 options. Yeah. Your characters either go underground or you go north. Going underground means you go looking for dwarves. Going north means you go to Galdaria, Taziandale, and Silencio.
Galdaria is an easier bet, though. It's a safer bet than the dwarves.
No magic. They're actually almost like magic dumb, but great
negative magic.
Bowmen. Yeah, and then Taziandale, it's soldiers, but most importantly, Tazian steel. Tazian steel is the quality shit. Like they have the.
It's a safer bet.
And then
it's a safer bet.
And then
Meta
Silencio
Josh
has the magic as well, but not the magic you want.
That one. Yeah, well, I don't know. Elemental magic might be super useful here.
It's a hard choice for which way you guys try to go. That's gonna be up to you guys.
I could just say I'm half. I could say I'm half Syl. I'll just stay inside for a couple of months and get pale.
Got the weirdo eyes. Yeah.
That's like somebody having a really dark tan and being like, "Yeah, I'm totally," and then lies about their ethnicity. But
they're like gray.
The truth.
They're like gray too. There's no way I could become gray.
Unless you talk to Hafue.
Makeup stuff. Also, you could maybe use my mask.
I mean, Doxy's not looking awfully gray right now.
Actually, Scott, I would bring that up to her. I totally forgot that you had that. My master follows that religion, I believe.
Which religion, sorry?
The 3 mass religion. The mass. I don't know everything about it.
Yeah, he does.
Don't. But he mentions it occasionally. He mentioned it last time we spoke. He's like, "Oh, you finally learned the secret of the first mask," or something like that.
And you're like, "No." He's like, "Never mind."
So that might be something that you can use to help maybe him not be so crazy. Or maybe find out more about the mask. That's something that might be of interest to you. the master you're supposed to meet, Doxy.
I'm saying that you could use it to be still.
No, I know. I you reminded me of it. I'm saying this now since you reminded me that you had the mask. I forgot you had the mask. That my master does follow that religion, so you might be able to learn more about it. Because I mean, he doesn't talk to me about religion really. He just kind of ridicules me and makes comments. But yeah,
You could do a sit up. Just saying. That's saying you have to. I'm just saying you could.
it's always with short jokes.
What?
Hey,
What? No, that was.
is he
It's like he was
is he-
ridiculing.
is he here right now? Is that what's happening?
I hear the voice. I hear the insults. I don't know if he's here, but he's probably watching Lady Arcanium. Lady, whatever.
Arceum.
RCM, yeah. That's creepy, Scott.
It is very creepy.
Listen, I never said that's what he was doing.
It was implied. It was heavily
It
implied.
was heavily implied.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was also heavily implied that Doxy's little love there forgot who she was.
Super was.
What? No. You chose to read the lines as you chose to read.
So it sucks. We're gonna get news on Beso, go back to Little Ascaria,
Okay.
and then head north because we need to find out if Galdaria is willing to help us send Taziendale. And we
Okay.
need approval from the queen to talk to the Sill because
So-
she
so
has to.
This is what we're gonna do for prep for next week. Is I'm gonna put together a list on a handout of all the different things that need to be done. Which ones we have resolutions for and which ones we don't, so we can try to hit all those nails on the head. Because if you're going with the exact lines that you have there, I think that makes a 28 hex nation. Is what it kind of comes down to. Just you're asking them to like kind of boom 28 hex nation, which is crazy to have.
Well, it wouldn't be a 20. It's just that's the area they live in. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the entire area they control, right? Like, Adir is a huge area, but they only control a small fraction of it. But they are considered.
That's different
right?
though. That was that whole area around them was kind of protected by a curse for a long time, and da 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 da. This is now you got fucking enemies knocking at your door. You better have
Yeah,
control.
Joey cursed the land. It's fact, and he's a god. You made him a god, so
I did not make Joey a god. I do not get on my knees for Joey.
Wait, you get your knees for god? Okay, all right.
So, anyways, yeah. So a 28 hex nation
It's
has a
huge.
lot of perks to it. Like there's a lot of really cool perks to what it can do, and so on and so forth. So something to be noted. But anyways, awesome. We'll make a list of what needs to be done and what already is done. And did he just say pubically?
Yep.
So what needs to be done and what already is done. And then the other thing was sorry, what was the other thing? Oh, and what you guys are going to be doing this next session, which would be Hekatsia for Krilla, and then Brintel. No, are you going to wait to talk to RCM first, or are you going to head south?
Has it been the days necessary for Arceum? That's really the question.
It'd be 2 more days for RCM. That's all.
Yeah.
But it could be the two of you could go down south, and he could join you later on, or he could just not go.
I mean, I'm not really needed.
It's true.
I do want to go there though. My character would want to go there. I
For
want to
the
learn
shadow
their
magic,
shadow magic.
But that
yeah.
has nothing to do with necessarily the
No,
mission on
but-
hand.
But I mean, that's like his driving life thing. So I know it's not the job,
Yeah.
but that is his thing.
I mean, we could also wait 2 days. Like that's not gonna completely kill us, especially because
We haven't got a reply yet either.
That's my point. We haven't gotten a reply yet. So, like, it's we should.
I will still need to meet with
I think with Isaac,
with
right?
Elise.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget we also.
Set up a
sorry.
meeting with the sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. She just simply says, "I'll send you a letter." Like you can bring one with you. That's all.
Okay.
It'd be
And
as
then-
easy as, "Hey, can I get that letter?" Oh yeah. Hold on, I'll get that for you in a couple hours.
But I also still want, like, before we go anywhere, I still want to try to re-win over Natalia.
She's not there. She went north.
Yeah, she was leaving the last. Remember when you talked to her? Then we were back in time. She was there. You guys were loading a boat, and then we went back in time. And then when we came back, she was already gone because
Do we know when she gets back?
You wouldn't know yet, but you can definitely work on other tasks. And as soon as she gets back into the city, give her like a day or two, and then jump on her.
Okay, and
Well,
I
not
also, before I go anywhere, I want to literally just have a girls' night with Arceum, and like pull at that thread, make her my friend, make her trust me and like me.
No,
Gotcha.
Lander is the worst person to get involved in this. Honestly, Lander is a guy that you use. You do not let him lead.
Arceum.
That's been proven. No, Landor.
No. He was responding to chat.
Yeah, Arceum's
Oh.
fine. Arceum's fine.
Yeah,
no,
no,
Like
that
she
was-
seems pretty legit.
no.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, she's legit. Don't worry. What you're doing is a very
Yeah.
good idea.
But there is people that we forgot about that we were told in the beginning. You have Damien Syracuse, the former slave that was once served in the military, then stripped of the rank, now people and he was thrown into indentured servitude. People follow him already in Yovance. We need to make a government for Yovance, for the new Yovance.
Yeah.
Novance. So we need people that
No
are.
balance.
We need people that are that Yovance people will follow, right? And if we can find that guy, people follow them. There's also that Mervis Vubada. I don't know, that's a horrible name. No, that's a bad person. Never mind. But there's people that we were told in the beginning that we could talk to in Yovance. So we could still use those people. We can go get them. We never even went down to the court of Yovance because, well, it's a horrible country.
You were like, I don't care to see its delights. I know the cost that takes to. create
That's
them,
true.
whatever.
Lady G too, because she owns all the boats, and what is it, Sardano? If we can just get her to fucking replant herself in the Beso, take all the boats.
No.
Take all the boats
If you
over
have
there.
Beso, and she's one of the most leading people in Strandano, that means the only one they have to worry about is TK2.
Yeah, we have the lake if that's the case.
And
Like,
TK2 is probably going to get taken by Paradise. Let's be serious.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So like, I think we do have the seeds for a really good idea. We just have to get all the information.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, chat, that might have been boring that me and Will strategizing for like 45 minutes.
no, I think everybody's fine with
It
it.
was necessary,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
we haven't had a chance to just sit down and talk that.
Well, when you
through.
bust out a map and start drawing lines, everybody gets all excited, like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
because it feels like an actual plan that's actually going to play out. So,
Yeah.
cool. So I think
I do like the idea of giving Landor Beso though. Like giving him like lordship over it or whatever, and then we don't have to worry about it. We don't like he's good enough to hold it or like fall back and stuff like that. He's not good enough to lead an army to gain ground.
What if a lord didn't necessarily own it? What if it became at least temporarily a bit of a free city, like what's the name of that?
Like
that
a
Free City of
State.
Bravo in Game of Thrones.
oh no, I wasn't going Game of Thrones. I was thinking more like Pirates of the Caribbean. What's it called?
Oh, what are they? What,
Pirates Cove.
no,
you lose, Josh.
I only watched the first one. It was the only one.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Jesus Christ.
What fucking city is that?
What the hell's the name of the city?
Tortuga.
Hogwarts.
Tortuga.
Tortuga. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
I was like, is
Tortuga.
it Tortoise?
Tortuga. Isn't it
Something?
tortoise in Spanish? That's
It
tortoise.
is.
It is
Yeah.
tortoise in Spanish. That's
Hmm.
why my
Always just makes me think of the Michael Bolton in Lonely Island.
It makes me think of Breaking Bad.
Every single
Oh, you're
time.
going to see the Tortuga. Oh, not good.
Never watched Breaking Bad.
It has its moments. It has its
It's a good
moments.
show.
It's I.
A lot of people say good things about it. I just don't have time.
It
It's
has-
a solid show.
yeah.
Like,
It's a solid show. There is a middle ground, like most seasons, where they have to find their footing after the first season.
Of course.
But the
Right.
beginning and the end are pretty freaking good. And there's
Bryan
spots
Cranston
of gold.
is obviously a treasure.
Yes.
Like obviously. And the dude who plays Jesse too, Aaron Paul, I think.
Yeah, Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
I'm bad with names.
Logan Paul? What?
No, Aaron
Aaron
Paul.
Paul. Oh, okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
Just lovely.
All right, so I
so-
think we finally have a basic idea
Yeah,
that's
I-
going
I
to fall
think
apart next session.
Unfortunately, I have to make more or less make like another thing I know I have to do is so we're talking about one hand, I was talking about another thing. Then I also think just a very simple like almost like a spreadsheet or a handout with the different lords' names and where they stand. Green, red, yellow for each of them. You know what I mean?
We spend so long during each session just being like, who is this person again? What do they do?
We've met the most people, I think, of all the other campaigns.
There's so many people.
And we've gone the least distance. Like, these people have traveled so far, and we have gone. We're like two cities.
You can't compare it to Regicide. Regicide's this like, kill him!
To be fair, when Regicide meets people, those people don't live long enough for them to get to know them.
Plus, they don't actually get to know anybody.
Yeah.
They people are there for like a session, and then they're gone.
Yeah,
well, they're very much.
Tyler's like
Momley, they had a whole base. Momley, they had a whole base. Bye. They just left it. I was like, all right.
Yep. No, that's you can't say the same about Kingmaker. They've met a lot of people. I mean, their advisor council alone is a lot of people.
But just think about how many people we have met in such short time compared to them.
We're on season 2, man.
Yeah.
We're on season 2, and I think we've probably met close to 50%.
And if you count ghosts.
Well, ghosts don't count. Come on now.
I mean, Neil met 10,000 people in season 1.
That's fair. Count. He wins. He wins.
That does not count either.
Half the people they know died. That's true. They killed off.
Half the people they knew died in prison. Remember that one character they forgot was in prison for like the longest time? The assassin. They're like, oh, we should probably execute this person. Like, oh, jeez.
We should. You know what? I just decided I'm not. You're not leaving behind, Laszlo. I'm not going to be known as the next Ophios. Just on his own, just in a totally different part of the country.
Oh my goodness! The Ophios just wandering through the woods for an entire session.
One session?
No, I only caught one session. I don't know if it extends.
There was
three
almost
now.
3 sessions.
It's 3 now, isn't it?
They're back together with this one. It's literally been like 11 and a half hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because the time wonky stuff.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It just had to do with Tyler being like, I'm not going to join, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. And then it's like, well, now you can't for 8 hours. Then it's like, I got to wait. I'm like, ugh.
Attacked by super trolls. Oh, okay. I'm over here. Good luck, guys.
I gave him an in. I was like, come on. He's like, my character wouldn't do that. I was like, all right. Well,
I mean, he's fair. His character wouldn't have done that.
Wouldn't. But
he got her back. He got Rena's back. I got your back, Rena. I got your back.
That will be a shirt.
For you.
One day that will be a shirt. One day.
You should put it on the front though. I got your back. And then on the back have a snake, like a small Ophios. You're like, yeah, right. Just whatever.
Anyways, well, I don't think there's anything else we're doing this evening. It's already 1:26 in the morning.
We didn't do kingdom rolls. Sorry.
I'm gonna go close my eyes.
It's already 1:26 in the morning. Which Tyler was saying something about there being a TOS about times. Maybe people aren't supposed to say what times they live in chat or some shit. I don't know. I don't know. I was over on his channel the other day when a bunch of people were streaming. I was on his channel, and somebody said what time it was, but it was an hour before me, so it was clearly Central Time. So they said, oh, it's blah 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 blah, and I was like, no, it's blah 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 here, but like just because they said what time it was, so I was like, oh, it's this here, and I got modded, and I was like, why the hell did I get modded for saying it's blah 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 time? And I got modded again, and I was like, the troll's coming out. The troll's coming out. I already got modded earlier before that too for saying fuck you, Tyler, because he was saying all this shit about me, but like just teasing me, but like verbally teasing me. Mm-hmm. So in chat, I said, like Daelric said, you know, fuck you, Tyler, like FUK, you, Tyler. I got modded for that, and I was like, he's talking about me, like I'm the person he's talking. So I got modded 3 times in like 10 minutes, and I was like,
doesn't feel good, does it?
I was like, I gotta go. Good. Yeah, but with us, it's joking. I was like, I gotta go because I the troll's coming out. Like I'm gonna start just.
That's weird though. Like how can you not talk about your time zone? Like that's just basic stuff. That's not anything that's like.
I don't know. You're also not supposed to ask people their age. You know what I mean? Stuff like that or whatever. I don't know. So I was just like, I'm gonna go, and so I went and watched on Rita's channel instead. And it turned out she was the imposter, so I was like, oh, okay, this is more fun. So...
Oh, Will was there for that. I popped in, and after your stream, and I popped... No, it wasn't after your stream. I popped in, and Will was like, hey, Josh. And I was only there for like a second.
Yep. But
Which I should have remembered when we asked about the eyes earlier. Yeah.
Mhm.
I should have remembered that.
I can watch in small doses. Like this is
Yeah.
this is the most screen time I've had for a day for sure since getting the surgery done. But like, because I've been on screens for now close to 11 hours today.
Yeah, you should close your eyes. So why don't you start with talking about something that doesn't involve screens?
Like bed. I would like.
Okay, well,
No,
hey, baby, tell me about bed.
Yeah, no. So I'm Will. I don't do that much right now on the internet because this is the only thing I do on the internet right now. However, I do run a company with some friends. We're making Schism, and you can check it out over at darknessentertainment.com, which is in the chat right now. There's some information on there. You can check out some information about each of the miniatures and the sets that we're coming out with. We're talking about Immolation of Oathenfur, which we're looking for an early 2021 release date. I don't have an exact time yet. We have made some progress on getting that quote, but I had to go back to the company that was doing the quote again, just because there was something that wasn't quite right with it. So we're going back again and trying to figure that out. We're wanting to make sure that everything is in perfect order before we start getting pre-launch copies going, which is what we're really looking forward to. But if you're interested in strategy games, but more war game like, or if you're looking to bridge that gap between something like Risk that you like in playing, or Settlers of Catan, and stuff like Warhammer, this is the game for you. We're coming out early 2021. It's meant to be kind of an introduction to tabletop wargaming, and it's meant to be fast, quick to play, and easy to learn, with a depth of strategy that will give you variety each time you play it. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, check us out over at darknessentertainment.com. You can follow us on social media, and I'll be talking about it literally every time after this show, and hopefully in the near future we'll actually have a launch date set for that.
I don't want a launch date. I want you to send it so I can play it.
I know. We'll get there, Scott. I got to get that quote right, because if we don't get it right, then
even Ollie messaged me about how exciting that is.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's
I'm waiting.
I know.
I'm nagging now.
I know you are. But what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure that the pre-production copies are going to be really solid, so that what we're sending you is basically...
I want it soft. I'll make it hard myself, thanks.
Well, there are some soft materials and some hard materials, so you can have your choice. At any rate, that's me.
Sorry. Josh asked to unmute. Josh, could you please tell us what you're doing online? What you've been up to?
You just messaged me.
What? Tell us what you've been up to.
Yo, it's your boy Funny here. So, hi guys.
Nope.
I'm a variety streamer. You can check out my channel. I play all sorts of things. I have cool friends and even cooler community. So you can check out my channel. I'm also a huge member of Scott's community. I'm usually in there every day talking shit. So yeah, huge. Yeah, baby. That's how it is. So check me out if you get a chance. If not, you can always catch me here, having fun on Thursday nights, as you know. Plus, Doxy's awesome. Hi, Doxy.
Oh, you quit it.
Speaking of
fine.
Foxy,
Will's awesome. Screw that.
he can't even get it out of his mouth right. So,
All the
Foxy.
maple syrup.
Hi, I'm Doxy. I am really boring right now, but I have a lot of exciting things going on my channel, at least.
Well, why are you boring now?
Because the SSRI withdrawal.
Oh.
I'm coming off of depression meds, cold turkey, and it is fucking the most brutal thing I have ever been through.
But why are you boring though?
Because of that.
But you're
my
not
brain
boring.
hurts.
You do
Well,
realize
thank
that
you for
boring is a
saying that.
subjective thing, right? Like you made an objective statement about a subjective thing. Does not compute.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Raise your hand if you think Doxy's boring.
Anyway.
I see
you
zero
can find
hands
me
in chat or out here. So
at .tv/ZER0DOXY. We do tabletop every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We either raid Scott or Scott raids us. It's a good time.
yeah. How's that game? I saw you guys playing on a boat, on a motherfucking boat.
Yeah,
Was it
Theros.
last night? Was it last night?
Yes.
Yeah, is that the one Tyler's in last
Yesterday
night?
was Wednesday. That sounds
Okay.
right.
Yes. then
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So how'd that go?
It was good. Theros is a fucking dope ass shiznit happening in my life and on my channel. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at this.
You're fine.
My channel is really cool, guys.
Believe me, I swear. All right, and
A bunch of really cool tabletop RPG stuff.
and just so we can get out of here for the evening, so what's his name can go. I'm just gonna do a close up on the beard, just a little, and we can go now. Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for
Bye,
hanging
everybody.
out. It's not transitioning.
No, it isn't.
Will turn into a Sith Lord.
What do you mean turn into?
Guys, who are we gonna raid? Who's still alive?
I think Rena is still alive.
Is Rena streaming?
She's doing the art
Yes.
right now.
Oh, is she really?
Yes.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
raid Rena. I'm gonna raid Rena.
Scott's live,
raid
too.
Rena. Fuck him. Let's raid Rena.
Oh, she's currently drawing